Give me a second. Hold on. Hold on, everybody. Give me a second. Blessed assurance. Jesus is my. I don't know how that song goes. My grandma used to sing that song. Blessed assurance. Let's try this again. Let's see. Let's try this again, everybody. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry. I'll be back in a minute. Stare at Jim and Jen. Stare at Jim and Jen. They are looking hot in this picture. Look how sexy they are. Oh, y'all know I can't sing. I tried though. I think I should get an A for effort. Like I tried to sing, but you know, I was in choir for many years. Many years. I just got the shower. Let me see. Let me get my pillow straight. Let me get my life straight right now. Let me get my background straight. Child, I gotta hop up on this bed. Girl. Oh. I gotta hop up on the bed. Girl, you was watching one of my shorts? Girl, this bed is so high, girl. Y'all had to see how high this bed is. Okay, anyway, hey y'all. I'm getting it together. I've had a harrowing adventure. Hi, my name is Kiki. Welcome to my channel, Nomadic Kitty, where I discuss K-pop and the K-pop industry, and I try to get this camera straight. I was on an adventure today because I ordered something from Amazon, and they delivered it to the wrong house, and I was driving around trying to find it, and I never found it. So I had to hurry up and come back home. I was out walking outside, and the heat is like 90 degrees outside in Texas, and I'm walking around. You know how they take a picture on Amazon of where it's supposed to be at, girl? I went to every house trying to find it. I never found it. I called Amazon and was like, this is the third time they've delivered it to the wrong since we moved here. There's a house number on my garage and a house number on the front of the house, like literally by the side of the door. These huge numbers. So I don't understand why they keep delivering stuff to, and it's just random houses that they deliver. And I'm like, I drove around looking for a girl. I gave up. Lisa said Amazon is always doing that. Blessed assurance. Jesus, isn't God good? Happy Father's Day, everybody. Happy Father's Day. Yep, we got V, we got Jimin, and we got Jen. Oh, yes, happy Father's Day. You made popcorn and you ready? Oh, look at them. Oh, yes, isn't God good? Anyway, I just had to put them up there. I was like, I'm gonna put this merry-go-round picture up here. Yeah, put this merry-go-round for y'all. This is y'all merry-go-round. Yep, I got a merry-go-round video that I made with their photos. Did y'all see that? So we're going to talk about BTS updates. I got some opinions on certain things. And what else? We're going to talk about Korean censorship. And then we're also going to talk about the groups that fell off. There are so many groups right now flopping real hard, y'all. Like people are struggling, girl. Y'all, they are struggling in the game. I'm telling you, there are so many groups that didn't came back because, you know, everybody didn't have their comeback this year. Legendary groups, third generation, fourth generation, fifth generation, everybody's having their comeback. Everybody's trying to go on tour. Now, we've talked about the situation with tours before, how people have had to cancel their North American tours because the tickets ain't ticketing. Honey, the albums ain't albuming. Okay, there's some comebacks, there's some groups that I was like, I forgot all about them. Or damn, they came back. Or people like, they came back. Y'all, me and Jennifer came over the other day, y'all, and we was talking about the groups, all the groups that were popular like in 2023 and 2024. And then now in 2026, you're like, what happened? Like they was the hottest thing in K-pop or ushering in the new generation, or they were the fourth generation queens. Most of these are going to be girl groups we're going to talk about. You know, most of them going to be girl groups. Hey, Marie Miller, Lisa, Minnie, Katina, everybody. Make sure y'all hit the thumbs up. And again, I'm drinking. I ain't got no 99 bananas. Just drinking because it's hot. It's really hot here. And I was out literally walking around. Also, I was going to do live stream yesterday. Y'all, I know this sounds, I'm finna tell y'all something before we get started. I know this sounds crazy. But y'all, I hurt my neck. Like bad. Like when I say hurt my neck, I mean bad. Like really hurt my neck. So this side of my neck is like, it felt like somebody hit me in the baseball bat. Apparently, I went to sleep. I was up trying to edit. I'll be up late. Y'all know I work and then I'm up late editing the video. Apparently, I had my phone in my hand and I was editing and I was watching. Apparently, I fell asleep. So I woke up and I was like this. Well, I had, my phone was right here. My arm was right here. My neck was like this. I woke up, I'm like, ah, and then my neck was stiff. So I was like, you know what? I fell asleep. I got a crick in my neck, whatever. By the end of the day, my whole back of my head was throbbing. By the end of the day, like my eyes was watering. Like I could barely like comprehend. Like my vision was blurry. I was like, okay, I take some ibuprofen. Next day I woke up, like I couldn't sleep at night. The next day I'm thinking, okay, it's gonna be better. It just kept getting worse. So I've been taking ibuprofen, painkillers nonstop. Because I have I pinched a nerve really, really bad. Like I compressed a nerve in my neck. So for the past 3 or 4 days, I was gonna do my live stream last night, and my head just hurt so bad. Like I just sat there and I was just like, my head. I was like, I need to go to sleep. Like I felt like I was gonna die. Like I've never felt anything this bad. And I've like injured my shoulders before. But yeah, apparently I compressed a nerve like in my spine, like the back of my spine. I was like, Lord, y'all editing these videos is treacherous, y'all. It's treacherous. Oh, you know the feeling, Denise? Oh my God. Like I thought, I really did think, I thought like, oh, it'll be something I'll be over. I ain't never had this. I've never had it felt this bad. So now today, I actually woke up, like it's hard for me to sleep at night, but I actually woke up today and I'm like, I hurt. And then I took like some over-the-counter pain pills and I felt better. And so I haven't been able to go to the gym. Like this happened last Sunday. Like last Sunday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get back in my gym routine. I got all moved in. My body had to heal from moving. My back was hurting. And I was like, okay, I'm fine. And then that happened with my neck. And so this week I was gonna try to go like walk around or something. I couldn't even go walking because my head would it just felt like somebody was stabbing me in the back of the head. Like it was bad. And so today I'm actually feeling like semblance of normalcy. But I did take some pain pills because I was out with my daughter and my head started hurting. Also yesterday, me and my son, we went on like an adventure. Like he wants to go to these little shops and stuff. And so I took him, and then my daughter didn't want to go. And so that was fine with me. And so me and my son, like I have real fun going out with him where he wants to go to like these thrift stores and these little toy shops. And so I took him, of course, and that's what we're doing. But this week has been like I had to take my daughter to work. Y'all, some of y'all don't know my daughter's 12, but she has a job. She works at the stable that she takes her horse lessons. She's like a camp counselor for the little ones. So I had to take her to work early in the morning and then deal with my headaches and still work my job. It's been a week, Am I enjoying my new home? I love my new home. Yes, I do need a neck pillow. Hello, Goldwyn. Yes, I either need a wedge pillow because I already got back issues. And I have neck issues too, but they're not that bad. But after this, I'm like, you know what? I just need. But I love my new home. I haven't had a chance to really get out and explore the neighborhood besides me trying to find Amazon packages that haven't been delivered. But I really need to go out and like take advantage of all of the things, the reason why I moved here. Because I moved here because they got a hot tub and a pool and a sauna, and they have like we have a full court gym, and we have indoor and outdoor basketball court. Like we have all these things here that I have not had a chance that this week I was going to enjoy, but I haven't. And so now, since I'm feeling better, yeah, I'm feeling better. Yes, Lord. I'm going to go out this week. But I meant to tell you guys on June 23rd, y'all know what June 23rd is, y'all. Do y'all know what June 23rd is? I did a short because June 23rd is my birthday, y'all. What? Ooh, I haven't even had a chance to even get ready for my birthday because I've been hurting so bad. But June 23rd is my birthday, y'all. So I'm happy birthday to me. And Jennifer keeps asking me what I want to do, and I have no idea. So if you guys have any suggestions about what I should do on my birthday, then y'all need, then y'all let me know. What should I do on my birthday? Oh, yeah, and I got some birthday videos I need to film tomorrow. I'm going to do some real lighthearted birthday kind of videos. Like, I think one video I'm going to talk about, like, my favorite things about BTS, my favorite things about K-pop. And then I'm going to ask you guys to tell me what is your 5 to 10 favorite things. I'm going to try to do some fun videos. Korean barbecue, I thought about that. Korean barbecue and Korean drinking. And whatever I do has to involve alcohol because I like to have fun. So me and my kids were going to go to this place called Meowth. It's like this place where it's like this surreal art and everything. And my son suggested it, and we're going to do that probably on Wednesday. But me and Jennifer are going to go out, and Jennifer's like, I don't know if Jennifer's going to be here, but she'll pop in. She said she was going to try to pop in. And then also like to say Happy Father's Day to everybody. Y'all know Father's Day, it's a really bittersweet time. For me and Jennifer. If y'all didn't know, Jennifer, my sister-in-law, my father-in-law passed away 2.5 weeks ago. So I know this day is bittersweet for her. My dad passed away in 2021. My husband passed away in 2014. So Father's Day is kind of bittersweet. Get a neck pillow with Namjoon on it. Oh, I would love to have a neck pillow with Namjoon. I'd be like, Namjoon, rub my neck. Let me stop. Let me stop. That is tough. Today is a very interesting day. But I appreciate everybody's condolences, especially to Jennifer. Jennifer's having a really tough time right now because not only when a parent passed away, but then you have to do all of the things that has to do with all of the things of your parent passing away. So she has to deal with her childhood home. I told you that her dad had a cat. They had the same cat for 13 years. She had to put the cat to sleep. I know this is going to sound weird, but there are possums in her parents' home. And there are possums. Yes, a possum jumped on the stove, scared her half to death, ran out the kitchen. Like there's possums underneath the home, and they got in the home, and so she's having to deal with all of that. Like who she had to go and visit lawyers, like who they're going to sell the home to, and what's she going to do? She's going to sell the home. She just wants to be done with it. Then she has to hire junk dumpster people, and then they have to like. Her and my son and a bunch of relatives next weekend are going to go and throw things away in the home. Like there's a lot to go through when somebody passes away. Thank God I didn't have to do all that. When my mom passed, my mom lived with me. So I just got rid of the stuff that was in her room, and that was hard enough. I couldn't imagine going through a whole house full of shit. Yeah, the business of, yes, yes, there's possums. Yes, possums. Yes, the business, Ashley, of losing someone, yeah, compounds the trauma. It's bad enough you're dealing with the loss of a loved one, then you have to deal with their car and their home and their pets, and it's a lot. It's a lot for her to deal with. Like I could see the exasperation in her, face today. Oh, it's your dad's first. Somebody said, "Oh, it's your dad's first day without his father." Oh, Denise said that, without your grandpa. That's tough. It's hard. I remember the first Mother's Day without my mom. That was very, very hard. I didn't want to talk about Mother's Day. I couldn't even really celebrate Mother's Day after my mom died. Like I was like, I'm trying to think what I did that year. I don't even remember. But yeah, the business of losing someone and having to do all of these things is just, oh, it's just, it makes things even worse, hard to deal with. So happy Father's Day to everybody else out there who had time with your grandfathers and fathers and everything like that. I didn't really have a dad. Y'all know my dad was, Papa was a Rolling Stone. You know, my dad, when he died in 2021, my dad died. I'm telling y'all something. My dad died, and I had never met my dad in person. So that's a little interesting tidbit about me. I talked to my dad over the phone. I video chat my dad, but I had never met my dad in person, at least not as an adult. Last time I'd seen my dad saw me in person was when I was like 5 or 6 years old. So my dad passed away, and I never got a chance to meet him. Same thing with my grandmother. My grandmother passed in 2022 on my dad's side. She hadn't seen me since I was a little kid. So yeah, it was pretty crazy because I thought I had time. I was like, I had time enough to go in Michigan because we talked about me going to Michigan and meeting my dad and my siblings, my half siblings, and it never happened. It never happened. And now my my half brother, I don't know where he's at. I think he's in Arkansas somewhere. Not quite sure. My other half brother is incarcerated. So I have one got out of prison and I don't know where he's at. And then the other one we would keep in contact here and there, but he is back in prison. So that's my half siblings. Oh, you don't know if your bio's dad alive or not, nor do you care. She's like, I don't care where he at. I will let Jennifer know that y'all thinking about. I let her know all the time. I said my subscribers be thinking about you, Jennifer. All the stuff that she didn't go through. It has been a tough couple of years, but we gonna hang in there. We gonna make it to this BTS concert in August. I said, girl, we just gonna make it to Bangtan in August. She like, yes, we have something to look forward to. Something to look forward to. We're gonna look forward to y'all. So I appreciate all you guys' condolences and thoughts. And now since we've shoot the breeze, we breezed the shot. Oh, it took a while to get over that feeling so sad. Nothing else whenever I thought about my mom. She said, Mom. Now there's still sadness, but much love. Like I said, with my mother, it's always, my mother was a great grandmother. She was a great friend. She was there for me when my husband died. She came and moved down here with us from Michigan to when my husband passed away to help take care of me and my kids. And so I will always be forever grateful to that. But it's bittersweet because my mother didn't raise me. My mother didn't come back into my life until I was 32 when I found her on Facebook and we got back in connection again, also through my aunt. My aunt lived down here when my aunt passed away too. But my aunt lived here and she was talking to my mother. And she was like, oh, your mom wants to talk to you. I hadn't talked to my mom in years. So I was a little apprehensive at first. Again, I was in my 30s, okay? I was apprehensive at first. But it ended up working all good. And me and my mom, we were like best friends. We weren't quite like mother and daughter. We was kind of like best friends, sisters, and mother and daughter. Like we didn't quite kind of have like that mother and daughter dynamic. We had more like she was an older aunt kind of dynamic, you know. But with my kids, she was grandma for sure. My kids, she was doting and loving and kind and special, and they miss her. They talk about her today and they miss her. And she was a fabulous grandmother. But for me, my mom, you know, she wasn't. And I had to explain it to my kids. And my kids didn't really quite understand. They was like, what do you mean your mother wasn't there? I was like, they were like, grandma? To them, grandma was everything, you know, was took care and cooked and cleaned for them and showed them how to ride a bicycle and all these things. And I was like, and I was grateful that she was there for them in that way. But she wasn't around. I was like, no, my grandmother did everything. My mother was not there. But yeah, a lot of y'all know that. And my mom was out there living that life, honey. She was out there living that groupie life. She was out there in the streets, honey. I tell y'all, I'm an industry orphan. I tell people all the time, I'm an industry orphan. So when you hear about them rich people and them groupies like having kids and leaving their kids with relatives, I'm like, that would be me. My mama was out in New York at Studio 54 and was like, there was my mama. She was out at the clubs doing all the things with all the things. She was pretty and young, and she was out there living the life. Tell Jennifer hello and God bless. Our father died last year. Oh, wow. He was always wonderful to you. His death left a big mess for me and my siblings to fight over. I never knew it was such a big mess. It is such a mess that I just feel kind of helpless. Like, all I can do is be like, I'm here to help, Jennifer. I'm just here for you, girl. Jennifer, I'm here for you, girl. I tell you, the best thing I ever got out of the deal with my late husband is Jennifer. That's the best thing. Like, I've never met anyone like Jennifer. I've never met anyone that me being so introverted and cranky. I've never met anyone that I connected with instantly. Like, I've never met anyone like that. Like, it's like we knew each other from, like, I don't believe in the woo woo, but with me and Jennifer, if there ever was a past life, I feel like in a past life, like she was the mother and probably I was the daughter in a past life. I feel that way because she kind of has a mothering protectiveness over me. And I feel like when we first met, we just instantly was like, oh, there you are. Like, damn, like, I know you. Like, hey, it was kind of like we kind of knew, like, I'm like, I kind of feel like I know you already. Me too. And so for both of us, we've never met anyone that we've clicked so quickly with. It was really weird. It was really weird. You said at least I have a good sense of humor. I always have a good sense of humor. I have a good sense of humor about everything. I don't take anything because my life turned out good. I'm not bitter with my mother because my life was good. My grandmother was loving, kind, doting, took care of me. My grandmother spoiled me. My grandmother gave me everything, taught me everything how to be a good parent. My grandmother did everything for me and more. If I would have had a horrible life, then I probably would have been bitter. But I wasn't. I know deep down inside I was better off with my grandmother than if I would have been with my mother, my life would have been, I would have ended up in a really bad situation, I think. But with my grandmother who protected me, who moved us out of the hood to Texas, I would have never came to Texas if I would have stayed living with my mama. I'd still be in the hood in Detroit. I'd still be in a danger zone. I'm just telling y'all the truth. My ass be in a danger zone. I don't know what would have happened to me. I don't know, but my grandmother took me out of that environment, moved us here to Texas, to a suburb, and I was able to work, go to college. Now, I did join a cult, but that wasn't my grandmother's fault. That was on me. Now, I did join a cult. Now, I admit it. Some of y'all laugh about that when I tell y'all I joined a cult, but I did join a cult. But I learned a lot, too, from joining a cult. I take everything in stride as a life learning lesson. I've lived a lot of life, y'all. Too much. Okay. But me joining a cult had nothing to do with my grandmother. That's just me. I'm a greater inspiration. I'm glad you guys think I'm an inspiration. I've been through a lot, Tell me, that's how you feel about your bio. That's how I feel about both of my parents. I feel like both of my parents came together. They were very young and they had me. And it was just kind of like they both didn't need to have a child. I feel like they both didn't need to have a kid. They were not in the mind space and the life space to be raising a child. My dad was an alcoholic. He was in and out of incarceration all of his life. My dad was a firebrand. My dad was fire. My mother was ice. I have some of my dad's tendencies. I don't have a temper like my dad do, but I kind of like tell it like it is. And she's like, that's your father. My mother was much more gentle and dance around thing. Me, I'm like, no, that's dumb, that's stupid, fuck that. My mom be like, that's your dad talking, that's him. You're very she like, you can be harsh sometimes. She's like, that's your daddy. I was like, yeah, because my mother, like, we were opposites. Like, my mom was very like outgoing and friendly, and I'm not. My dad was very like introverted and shy and kind of a hard ass. So my grandmother was everything in my life. I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for my grandmother. My grandmother taught me how to be an excellent parent. I put my kids first because of my life experiences. So that's what I said. The good came out of that. Because I realized I didn't realize what was going on until I was 10, 11 years old, y'all. did I really find out that like what was going on with my parents. I didn't know. I didn't know. So once I figured out that, I couldn't grasp as a kid why my parents weren't there. And people tried to explain to me. By the time I was 12 years old, I told myself I would never have children. I didn't want even any kids. I didn't want kids for the longest time. But I told myself if I did have kids, I wouldn't do what they did. I would not be on drugs. I would not be on alcohol. I would have kids and I would be in their lives and I would take care of them and I would dote on them. And that's the reason why I am a parent today, because I had a grandmother as example, and then I couldn't fathom why parents didn't raise their children. I couldn't understand why my parents weren't there. And I said, well, I ain't doing that shit. And I said, I ain't never. I said, I don't give a fuck if I got to be poor, if I got to be hooking on the streets. I'm going to take care of my kids. I don't care what I got to do. And that's my attitude has always been. I put my kids first. I don't care what I got to do, what scheme I got to come up with. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to take care of my kids. And people always say that. People like, you are a good mother. Like I put my kids first before any relationship, any man, anything. My kids come first. It's just because, again, for my parents, I didn't come first. So I know how that feels to feel like, oh, well, why ain't they here? And, I got my grandmother, but why are my parents not? Why are they such a fuck up? And I was like, then my mom out here doing this and married 3 times and my dad in and out of jail. And I was like, well, for fuck's sake, I don't want to deal with either one of these. Whatever you doing and whatever you doing, I ain't doing it. And so my life went total a different trajectory. So my life, one of the reasons why I think I fell into a cult is because I went too far into the other direction. You know what I'm saying? I went too far into it. I was like, I'm not going to be nothing like them. And I'm going to dedicate my life to God. And then I joined a Christian cult. So that, so I think I went too far in that direction. And then I had to bring myself out of it. 10 years later, I'm like, what was that all about? And I realized I wanted to belong. I wanted to put my life on the straight and narrow. And I felt like I needed religion and God to do it. But that was not the type of religion and God that I needed. That was not it. That was being in a cult, honey. It was not it. And I'm like, I can do this with myself and my own will and my own determination. I don't need a cult to motivate me to be a good person. And then I left that behind. So I did. I pulled it down a very difficult situation. I tell my kids all the time, my kids are, oh, my mom's so cool. I'm like the cool mom. I'm like, hey, I'm the cool mom. Hey, but I'm not perfect, but I try to do the opposite of what I was done. And I try to follow my grandmother's example. And my grandmother, and then like now as I'm getting older, I really think like how old my grandmother was when she started raising me. And she was right around this age. And my grandmother could have lived her life. Her kids were all adults. My grandmother could have lived her life. She could have lived out her 50s doing whatever. My grandmother was in her 50s when she was taking care of me. And she could have just lived her life. Like, I was like, my grandmother really was young. Like, she really was a young grandma. Like, she really was like in her late 40s, early 50s, raising a kid. And she could have just lived her life and just been like, no, come get your kid. My grandmother didn't do that. My grandmother, I told y'all before, saved my life. My grandmother literally went with my uncle and dragged me out of my dad's home. Well, where he was staying, while I was being babysat by prostitutes. No, that sounds crazy. I know that sounds crazy, y'all, but that's the truth. I was 2 years old in some trap house in Detroit being babysat by ladies of the night because that was the lifestyle that my dad was leading. And my uncle and my grandmother literally like knocked on the door and was like, I don't care what y'all people up here doing, what y'all whoring, y'all drugging, whatever the hell y'all doing, that's fine. I'm here for my grandbaby. That's it. And if anybody get in my way, my uncle was like, I got a baseball bat and I'm willing to fight up all of y'all. And so, yes, my grandmother, and then I had an uncle in the car for backup. And my grandmother literally told the people in that house, this is my grandchild. and I'm taking my grandchild up out of here. And y'all can fight me. You have to go through my sons first. And my grandmother picked me up and carried me out of that home. It's a crazy story, but that's the truth from what my aunts told me. And she picked me up and she took me, and she was upset and took me out of that home. And then she called her daughter and said, "You are not my daughter anymore. I got your child. You're going to take me to court to fight for her." And hung up on her. And then she called my dad, and my dad fussed with her, and she cussed my dad out. And my uncle got on the phone, threatened my dad, said he was going to kill him because his niece was not going to go back to where he was at, and that was just it. And so there was a huge family fight. And my grandmother went to court and fought for custody, and she got full-time custody, and she got up there and drug her daughter for filth. She had, and then it caused a rift between them too. But my grandmother told the truth. She's like, she's 2 years old. You're not taking care of your child. You're not going to leave my grandchild with just anybody. She's not going to be sit up here in a drug house. That's not what my grandmother was. A church going woman. She was a member of the Church of God in Christ. Amen, amen, amen. And my grandmother said, "I'd be damned if you gonna leave my grandbaby up here in this situation." And my grandmother was told her daughter, "Fight me. You don't like it? Fight me." And my mom was mad for many years and didn't talk to her. And my grandmother's like, "That's it." My grandmother literally saved my life. So I don't know what my life would have been if she didn't go get me. That doesn't sound crazy. That sounds like many people's life. Yeah. Family has to do with it. I don't blame my grandmother. She saved my life. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. Because she took me out of that situation and fought her own daughter. And my grandmother used to tell me I'd do it again. She's like, "I'll fight your mother every day. Like, I'll do it again." And they used to butt heads and argue and fight. I remember being little, and then they would just get into these epic shouting matches. And my grandmother wasn't one to play. And my grandmother would be trying to fist fight my mama. Like, she would just get so angry with her. And then I remember my mother would just storm out and leave. And then I wouldn't see her for years. Yeah. I don't know what impact. Like I said, my grandmother saved my life. I thank her every day. I even named my daughter after my grandmother because she saved my life. I wouldn't be nothing. I wouldn't have went to college. I wouldn't have a career. I wouldn't even be doing this live stream if it wasn't for my grandmother intervening in my life. I see the life that my half brothers live because they weren't. My mother only had one child, and that's me. But I see that their mothers were kind of like my mom too. And I see the lives of incarceration and addiction that my half brothers had. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And I feel sorry for them because they had mothers that were addicted as well. And then they grew up around my dad, and my dad with his demons and him being in and out of prison. They were like, "You lucky you didn't grow up with that." I was like, because I kind of lamented. I'll be like, "Oh, what would have been like if I had it?" And they were like, "No, you don't want that." They were like, "Yeah, you're good. You're good." I was like, "Well, maybe I don't." They were like, "No, dealing with dad is a problem." I was like, "Oh, it was a lot of trauma in their life dealing with my father." And at one time, my brother lived with my father, but they would fight all the time. They would be like, and then they would talk to me and they'd be like, "You're so much like dad." I was like, "Oh, am I?" They're like, "Yeah, you're kind of like our dad." I was like, and I'm the oldest. So my other half brothers are younger than me. And they're like, "You're kind of like dad in some way." They're like, "The way you talk is like the way he talks." I was like, "Is that a good thing?" They're like, "You kind of rude." I was like, "Me? Sweet little old me rude?" They're like, "You kind of rude." I was like, "Oh my God." They're like, "You're a little abrasive." I was like, they're like, "You sound like," and apparently I look like my dad. I don't really look like my mother, but I look like my dad, and I sound like my dad. So apparently, I'm just like, eh. So all you grandmothers out there, you never know the impact that you have. You don't have to do something dramatic, but grandmothers and grandparents are very much needed. And I respect all grandmothers and grandparents out there. My kids miss their grandparents who they don't have, and then I miss my grandmother and my grandfather. My grandfather was in my life too. My grandfather was the male role model, even though my grandmother and my grandfather weren't together. But my grandfather died when I was 5. He died um, in a tragic accident at work. And so I remember like it was yesterday when my grandfather died. My grandfather doted on me, and me and my grandfather, we were like this. I would go spend weekends with my grandpa. I love my grandpa. My grandpa was tall. He had a deep voice, and he's a tall guy, and I'm tall, and I miss my grandfather, but he died tragically when I was 5. accident at work killed him. And so I remember the day when they told me their grandfather died. I remember that like it was yesterday. I was like, what? I didn't understand. I was like, he died at work. But yeah, he died at work. He died in a tragic accident at work. And so, yeah, grandparents are much needed. So happy Father's Day, to make a long story short, to everybody. Fathers, grandfathers, even aunts, even uncles are much, much needed. You know, much, much needed. I know, like, and then I have a sense of humor. That's my mom's sense of humor. The sense of humor is my mom. My mom, my grandmother were very funny, but my mom, my grandmother were very effervescent. Like they were very feminine and very vivacious. Like I could see why people were always attracted to my mother and my grandmother. My grandmother was like tall and then like I'm gonna tell y'all something else before I move on. Like my grandmother, I wish I could show y'all a picture of her. My grandmother was tall, right? And my grandmother was like light, bright, and nearly white. So when I was a kid and my grandmother would drop me off and they'd be like, who's that white lady dropping you off? I was like, what white lady? They're like, that white lady. I was like, white lady? Oh, I was like, oh, my grandmother. And then they're like, yeah. And coincidentally, my daughter looks like my grandmother. Like they look just alike. Like if you've seen pictures of my daughter and my grandmother look just alike. It's uncannily weird. It's very uncanny. Like they have the same features and everything. So looking at my daughter is really like me looking at my grandmother. But yes, people would be like, who's this white lady dropping me off? Or they would be like, who's this Puerto Rican lady? And I was like, my mom, my grandmother? I was like, she's not Puerto Rican, she's not white, she's not Italian. She's not mixed. She's none of that. So they would be like, so some kids thought I was adopted, and I got adopted by a white family. I used to crack up. My grandmother would be like, she's like, yeah. So they would be like, did you get adopted by a white family? I'm like, no. I'm like, that's not grandma. They're like, are you sure that's your grandmother? I was like, I swear to God, on God, it's my grandmother. So when I had my daughter, I was like, Grandma? I mean, it's so weird. I was like, she kind of looked like me. As my daughter gotten older, I look at her, she'll say something, do something. I'm like, Grandma? Like, and I was like, that's like something my grandmother would say. Like, I'm getting creeped out now. I'm like, Grandma, is that you? Like, she'll look. And I'm like, that's the look that my grandmother used to. I was a child. It's gone full circle in my life. So looking at my daughter is really like looking at my grandmother. Like, it's scary. I'm like, they look just alike. She loved so, and then like I did this age regression thing, this AI thing, and where they take a person and make them like 50 or 60. And when I did it, I like dropped the phone and freaked out. I was like, ah! Because I was like, is this not my grandmother? And then I remember my mom was alive and I showed her and she was like, what the hell? She was like, that's my mom. I was like, that's what Emma gonna look like when she's 60. She's like, that's my mom. I was like, so in 40, 50 years, my daughter is going to look like my grandmother, apparently, because they did an age and it was scary. It was uncanny. It was like looking at my grandmother. Yes, Jimin. Jimin, is that you? That's Jimin. Oh, your mother's going to look just like your father. People say that too. Oh, your mom, she's so cute. Oh, you look just like your daddy. I'm like, yeah, that's Jimin, V, and Jen. But we gonna get started. I've talked enough, you guys, about my interesting life. I could write a whole book. Someone's like, you need to write a book. I was like, I really do, because this is just a lot of stuff that went on. You know, between the cults, between like the like Epstein like men that I met, like it's a normal life. Just it was the whole Epstein period. Anyway, y'all like, wait, what? What? Who? Yeah, there was a whole Epstein period I went through as well as a teenager. But anyway, it's a story for another time, y'all. Some wild times. But what else was I gonna say? So let's start out. You've been telling me that forever. I need to write a book. Everybody tells me that. They're like, girl, you know all these stories. You know. Yeah. Yeah, I need to write a book. I will though. I will. I'll probably try to start on it with probably next year. I'll probably try to start getting my memoirs and things together, at least for my kids. I may not publish it, but I'll hand it off to my children and let them be like, "What the hell?" and pass it down. But the first thing we're gonna talk about, y'all, is the BTS updates. So we're gonna talk about the BTS updates first. Where should I begin? Okay, so BTS been kind of like on a little rest. They've been on a little resty rest after the whole Busan thing that we talked about last week and the festa and everything. They've still been active and busy, but not as active and busy. So, if you guys don't know Spotify, I don't have Spotify, but they released a video exclusively first on Spotify, Merry-Go-Round. So, Merry-Go-Round was released and the video, and then as people started to record it and put it out there, and then I posted it and I saw the video. I watched it a few times. There's some content creators that did an analysis about merry-go-round and the symbolism, and I haven't gone through all the symbolism in video. Y'all know that like the symbolisms and songs and videos is not really my thing, because I think a lot of times it's open to interpretation. But the video was in black and white. The members all looked good. I love the song Merry-Go-Round when I first heard it on Adenang, y'all. Merry-Go-Round, y'all know that was in my top 5. And I loved it. I loved it. Did you cry hard? You cried hard about the merry-go-round? Tell merry-go-round. And I went back and re-looked up the lyrics and what they were saying. Oh, it hit you hard? Oh my God. Really, y'all? I didn't know y'all was reacting like that. I think Merry-Go-Round, the lyrics are very touching. Merry-Go-Round is a very reflective song. Damn June is out here driving Jeeps and posting pics. See, I'm not on social media. I'm glad y'all tell me that so I can go look. Oh, you was in tears. You tell me y'all about Merry-Go-Round? Why? What happened? Wait a minute. I need to go watch this video again. Wait a minute, y'all. Y'all talking about y'all was in tears. So hold up. What happened? I'm watching the video and I'm like, okay, what? This sugar, the storm? Like I was enjoying. Look, there's a horse. There's a giant horse in the silhouette. Like I'm just sitting here like, tell myself merry-go-round, and I'm over here clapping along, and y'all over here talking about. I was so moved, and I'm like, what did I miss? The symbolism. Oh, the symbolism. Okay, like some of the symbol. Like I haven't watched the videos about all of the symbolism. Here, let me try to explain it a bit. Okay, somebody please explain it to me. It was about their time in the military. Yeah, I heard that Namjoon has said in his Weverse live streams and other things about what that the song was. Wait a minute. What did I miss? I know Namjoon was saying this about their time in the military and their isolation and their loneliness, and especially for Namjoon, about the things that he went through in the military, the up and downs, and these are my words, the abject misery that he felt, in the military. So I know it was the song is partly about them in the military, and also a part about them, like the loneliness of being in the industry and stuff like that. You can't go into depth in 200 characters. I know. Like, can we get the abbreviated version? Yes. Yes, yeah, I saw the part in the video where the storm was over him, the flashes in the storm. I thought that was very profound because it kind of describes like the scooter thing and everything like that. Oh, he was the only one that didn't have a door towards the boys. I didn't notice that. See, okay, here we go. Let my ass get comfortable. Okay, I did notice that, but I didn't notice it until you just mentioned it. That yes, he was the only one that didn't have a door towards everybody else, that he was kind of like trapped on the outside. There was a callback to You Never Walk Alone. Was there? I didn't know. Yeah, they were older than the others. Yes, Ginger Wolf. That is a big thing in the military. Like that, speaking of BTS and military, the ATEEZ members there's several ATEEZ members that are scheduled soon to go to the military, at least by the end of the year. And so me and Jennifer were talking about that as well, that the ATEEZ members are going back. More than the military. Yeah, it was also about their career and Oh, stuck in concrete, South Carolina. Oh my God. Okay. I got to go back and watch this video and read the lyrics again and watch this video carefully because I missed all that. I was just vibing, I was like, just vibes. Here's me. There we go round, round. And then here's me. Ooh, look at JK. He sure looking good. Oh, I like that sweater. Here's me. I'm like, oh, look at that. And then I watched the making of the video afterwards too. Oh, there was Spring Day too. I missed that one. Not Korean enough yet. They're grounded in South Korea. Oh, see, that's why I do these live streams. Cause y'all, okay, I'm gonna go back and rewatch and then relook at the lyrics, and I'm gonna watch a couple videos about the symbolism. Okay. Okay. I remember them at the end sitting in a group therapy tops. Yeah, I knew I kind of figured out what that was. Um, when Jin came in, Tay left, symbolizing their time apart. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. There was 5 doors because 5 military enlistments. Yoongi's was different, and yeah, because JK and Jimin served together. You was giggling over me too. I saw JK sweater and I said, it looks like a fuzzy bee. I said, he looks so cute. It was like they were getting therapy. Yes. At the end I did see it. It was kind of like a group therapy session. Oh, I didn't know that either. It was well, okay. Again, I missed this one. Child, you gonna put a video in front of me. I'm like, oh, they look so good. Yoongi, there's a storm coming. Oh shit. I was like, oh, look at Jacob. He's spinning around, merry-go-round. Oh, there's a giant horse. Well, I like horses. I was like a merry-go-round, like a carousel, like a horse. And then it was in a group setting, and I said, oh, this is kind of odd. And so I watched the video a few times, and I was like, they're going through the door. I missed all child symbolism go over my head. Like, y'all, I just be like, and like I said, I know what the songs, the symbolism in the song, but I guess I didn't connect it with the music video. I guess what I'm trying to say. So that's why I was confused. Oh, okay. You never walk alone. Is that a song? Yeah, I know. And then at the end, yeah, I saw that they were in a spaceship. Like I thought that was very fascinating at the end. I said, wait a minute. It's not like they in a building, they're in a carousel that's like a spaceship. And I was like, that's profound. Is that BTS? Yes, that is BTS members right here behind me. BTS members. See the little carousel thing? Yes. But Taya felt like he outgrown the group and still wished them all to come together as one. Oh, okay, I didn't know. Like I said, y'all. I was like, I'm visual. I'm like, oh, that's a nice outfit. And then I like because the video was in black and white. And y'all know, well, y'all may not know, I like anything that's in black and white. I'm a really big fan of black and white videos, black and white pictures, videos. I love black and white. You Never Walk Alone is also the name of an earlier album, is it? Okay, y'all are, many people serve in the military, especially to go to war zone, have to be debriefed, go to therapy before they're allowed to return to their heads are messed up. Yeah, especially in South Korean military. Oh, yeah, okay, the spaceship represents their success, but they're still trapped within. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, yes. It reminds me of Dark World. Yes, I love Dark World. I'm a big fan of Dark World from 1999. Oh, I love that movie. The black and white made it more sad. The black and white, yes, it made it a bit more atmospheric. I love the black and white. When you take the colors away from things, it kind of brings like a more serious tone. High Boy, I haven't watched High Boy's video yet, but I will watch it after I get out of this live stream if I don't hop online and try to work. I just, you didn't figure it out either? You was wondering about the horse? Yeah. We're discussing the BTS video Merry-Go-Round that just came out. Yeah, I like the color. Yes, I love it. I love it. Yes. Like I said, I didn't get none of y'all. I'm like, I had to go back. I had to go watch a High Boys video because I was like, oh, they got some nice outfits. Like, like y'all, I'm not that deep off, into it. I was just like, I just know that I really like the song. Speaking of Stray Kids, let me interject. Felix from Stray Kids, um, is on this like he got selected as like one of the Hanbok ambassadors to further traditional Korean clothing. I thought that was really cool. Felix. Horses are a symbol of freedom. Yeah. You think the video should win some awards? Oh, okay. I don't know. Do they do video awards anymore? I know for songs. I like the song though. Oh yeah. I come from a military family. My grandfather was in the military. Um, I have lots of relatives that are in the military. Just I have a history of family in the military. Like a long like ever since the Civil War. Like one of my ancestors were like one of the first colored troops, and they like escaped their plantation. Like it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But my family, I think they've served in every war. My grandfather was in World War II. Yeah, World War I or World War II, World War II. World War II, my grandfather was served in. My uncle died in Vietnam. My uncle, it's a long story about that. My uncle was actually murdered in Vietnam by people in his own platoon, but that's a whole nother story for another day, y'all. But yeah, my uncle was murdered in Vietnam by friendly, what they call friendly fire. And then someone sent me an email saying that people murdered my uncle. So that was pretty shocking. 10, 12 years ago, someone sent me an email going, oh, because I had put something underneath because my uncle's like his name is in Arlington National Cemetery. You can go online and write messages, and then somebody emailed me back. I left my email, and somebody emailed me back saying your uncle was murdered. I said, and I remember me telling my mother this, and my mother was like very upset over it. But yeah, my family military goes way back, and I had some relatives that like had PTSD being in the military. And I know my uncle did not have a good time in the military. He would write home and to my grandmother saying that it was not a good time for him. He was not enjoying his time in the military at all. It's just a sidebar, but but just a sidebar. But I do know somebody that served in the military, of course, in South Korea, and but when they went in, they were very young. It is better to go in when you're really young than you to be in your 20s, because in your 20s your mindset is just different. And so I could understand from what this guy was telling me how hard it would be to be 20 something years old and be famous and be in the military when you're not young. When you're young, you're 18, 19, 20 years old, you're more malleable. You haven't really figured out life a lot, and but to go in having all the knowledge and experience and the fame and the money and the control, and to give all of that up, that seems so jarring to me. That seems like I would need therapy for a very long time. Very, very long time. Thank you. Hello, Poppy Seeds. Thank you. I have lots of crazy relatives. Yeah. 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 There's a lot of friendly fire in the military. I had to go on my own journey about what this really was. But yeah, I had family members that have experienced just all kinds of traumatic situations being in the military. The military is not for it's not for everybody. Especially when you're required to serve. And the guy that I know, he didn't really have too many bad things to say about the South Korean military, but uh he has other people that he knows that did not fit in, that did not have a fun time in there. And again, I tell y'all before, again, y'all can take this with a grain of salt. I have heard so many stories about JK and his experience in the military, from, like I said, from the benign all the way to the nuts. And I don't know whether it's something in between. I'm just going to leave it there. I don't know what to believe, but I have heard so many things from so many different people about JK's experiences in the military that the things that I have heard, I would, between him and RM, I hope to God that they're getting therapy, because from what I've been told by that dude that was in South Korea that was in the military, and he's an older guy, so he's like in his late 40s, so he was in the military 20 something years ago. I would probably suggest, hopefully they're getting therapy or being able to handle it, because this is something from what I hear that sticks with you for quite a while, and it's something that the way RM talks, I just, you know, I had this dude sit down and watch these RM Weverses while he talks about the military, and he just felt like he hoped that RM was talking to somebody about his experiences, because he said he could tell that RM did not have a good experience, and he said, I hope he's talking to somebody, he's using the resources available to him, because he just didn't sound like, and a few of them didn't sound like they had a good experience. Like I said, the stuff that went on with G Dragon, y'all, that was enough for me. I was scared when I started learning about them being in the military, and I'm thinking, oh, it's no big deal. And then people start telling me things, and I'm like, wait, what? And then I learned about G Dragon's experiences in the military. I was like, fuck. I'm like, okay. I was like, they doing what now? They drawing pictures of his what? They stealing his underwear. Like what? I was like, what is happening? I'm like, I thought that was horrific. I just was like, that's horrific. It was horrific. The service was harsher back in the day. It was longer. It was harsher back in the day. You ever hear what I thought it was? Yeah, he had people that they were looking out for him. From what I heard about JK, again, that his time that he was being bullied in the military. Now, as to what that is, depends on who you ask. But I heard that JK was being bullied in the military. Yeah, G Dragon went through it, honey. G Dragon went baby. The things that I heard about G Dragon was enough to test my resolve as a human being. I mean, the people drawing pictures of his junk, and people stealing his socks and his underwear, and people running up his credit card, and they bullying G Dragon, and the invasion of his privacy while he was in the shower. I mean, you don't want to be in the shower and people over there looking at your junk. Ain't nobody, you over there like, what y'all looking at? Like, they over here like, I'm like, oh God, like it's just line steppers, just the invasion of G Dragon's privacy and his body autonomy, and just the things that he would like. And then you always get people who have a problem with you because of who you are. They're jealous of you. They're envious, And so some people are going to try to test your gangster. They're going to try to test you like, you think you better than us. You always get people that have that attitude like, oh, well, they famous. They think they better than us, and we're gonna try to take you down. They're gonna try to humble you. I'm sorry. The way my friend explained it to me, that you have people in the military, if you're famous, they be trying to humble you. Okay, that's what they said. Humble you. I said that's a good way of saying it. Humble you. V served in military police. Yeah, V had a good time. I heard that V fit in, and that the people love V. They absolutely love V. They were enamored by V. V put that otherworldly alien charm on their asses. That V had them motherfuckers eating out his hand. V is like, shh. V is like, I'm V. Hello. And same thing I heard about J-Hope. I heard J-Hope charmed everybody. Everybody respected J-Hope. I heard that they loved V and everything like that. V was in special forces. Honey, he should have been in extra special forces, because V apparently won people over and charmed the hell out of people. And everybody was worried about V, and he was the one that had the best time in the military. Everybody was worried about V. And I think Jimin got so many awards. So I think Jimin was just like, he was trying to just put his head down and just achieve, and just do what he got to do. So Jimin is a hard worker. You can tell that he's a hard worker. And not saying the rest of mine. Then J-Hope just slid right in and was like, here, I'm training. I mean, and Jen just kind of like, I guess, did what he had to do to kind of fit in. But then I always worried about Sugar, RM, and JK. I worried about those three. Even though Sugar was in civil service, I don't think anything too wild happened to Sugar. But I always worried about them three the most, because out of everybody, those are the three that I didn't hear that most about what was going on. And so I don't know. Just some people's personality. I think JK is probably a little bit more sensitive, and I I think that some people just have that level of sensitivity that doesn't work well in a military type setting. It's still army, yeah. They do some crappy stuff. I don't know. V had it hard. It wasn't, but I'm saying that his personality was allowed V to shine for some reason. I don't know. But V, yeah, he had it hard and he had to go through some things physically and mentally. But V, something about his personality endeared people. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know. There's just something about V's personality. I don't know what it is. Which is saying nothing good or bad about the unit or him. It's just sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes you just slide right in and you fit in with people. And sometimes it's a person's, personality and how they talk to people and how they relate to other people. It depends on the people. I think V said the people in his unit were much more into like bodybuilding and athletics and stuff like that. And I think that kind of mentality has a different mentality when you're used to being part of a team and team sports. And I think he said his unit had like a lot of athletes in it. And so that kind of fosters a more harmonious socialization when you're used to being a soccer player or you're used to being, working out with other guys and people who used to be part of a team is like the sports mind is a little bit different than just, oh, well, I came from here and I came from there. And then, I don't know, maybe V sprinkled some magic. I don't know. V got the magic touch, honey. I don't put nothing past V. V just show up, sprinkle a little magic on them, and blow in their face a little bit. Y'all know I always be joking about V be otherworldly. I said, V just came down with an otherworldly, and he just blew some stuff in their face, sprinkled some shit on them, and they was just like, Kim Tae-young, you're awesome. That's how I figured in my mind. And when I said V probably just threw some pixie dust in their damn face, like boom. They was like, they like, damn, what was that? He was like, don't worry about it. They was like, oh man, you so cool. Yeah, V just threw some girl. I'm telling you, V just showed up and was like, poof, boom, and disappeared and came back. And they was like, this person is wonderful. I'm telling you. I was like, I don't know what V did to these people. Because they was all like, oh, V was so wonderful. And I was just like, I said, V and trapped him again. V be trapping him. Y'all, V be trapped. Look. I did a whole short about V. I was like, I don't know anybody up here criticizing V because baby V got the magic touch, baby. He walk in the room and everybody like V coming, hi, 안녕, 안녕하세요. Motherfuckers just be like, who is this dude? In 10 minutes, everybody like, that guy is so cool. I don't know what that is. It's something that people are born with. There are just certain people that walk in the room and everybody look and be like, who's this motherfucker? Like, who is this? And then 10 minutes later, they sitting around and they're like, hey, everybody. And the next thing you know, they best friends with everybody in the room. I've known people like this. I wish to God I had that. Whatever V has, I wish to God that I had that. It is something that you can't teach. You can't learn. It's just something that people are just born with. There's just certain people. They just born with this level of effervescentness that people just are drawn to, And V is one of the people I can see that I agree that V is kind of like a chameleon. And I think that he fits in with wherever he at. That's a skill. I'm more like RM. RM has my personality. My personality is like, okay, what we doing and why are we doing it? And I'm trying to question some things. Yeah, he has that magnetism. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Oh, really? They do special forces? And V was up there holding a gun and he was in the special forces and his hair was cut short. And then he was in the gym with the bros and he was like, yeah, man, yeah. And I was like, I don't know what's happening here, but I was like, V gonna come back and he gonna be like a whole changed person. And V came back much more confident, much more manlier and confident. V went to the military and was like, he was, sexy and confident, but he came back from the military really much more confident in himself. You can see that just the confidence. And I was like, damn, V, damn. Like, damn, V, don't be up here breaking my bias. So anyway, I'm going to go and rewatch the merry-go-round thing when I get off this live stream, and we're going to go over it. Also, beyond merry-go-round, what else happened? What else happened, y'all? Oh, RM got the ambassadorship to the Korean National Museum. And I have a short that I'm going to post tomorrow about this, where I was talking about this. And I didn't watch High Boy's video or anybody else's video about it. And congratulations to Namjoon. Y'all know how much I love Namjoon. I saw the picture and I read the articles, and I have some problems with all of this, but that's just me. But I have problems because I was like, wait a minute. I was like, oh, this is great. Then I was like, wait. I said, what? Isn't this the same National Museum that is low on funds? In 2025, I learned that they can't buy any more artifacts because South Korea won't give them any more money. And even though they've had an increase in foot traffic since 2021, they've had more tourists, more people go to the museum. Aren't they still struggling budget-wise? I was like, isn't this the same? Isn't that the same museum? I looked it up. I said, yep. Oh, same museum. Okay. All right. I'm not knocking the hustle. Good night, V. Marie. Marie finna go to bed, girl. Good night. I'm proud of him. I agree, Shelly. Thank you. I'm very proud of him. This is newly created ambassadorship. He definitely deserves it. Junie's into art. He represents Korean culture. He donated $65,000. Yes, I am happy what Junie is done. But then on the other hand, I'm like, On the other hand, I'm like, don't y'all got some financial? Shouldn't South Korea? And then they were saying that the National Museum of Korea don't receive the funding that other national museums around the world do from their respective government. So I'm like, shouldn't South Korea, shouldn't y'all be stepping y'all game up? Like, I just like, okay. So to me, in my opinion, okay, like me being cynical, this is just another way of South Korea using BTS. That's the first, because the first thing I thought about, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, they struggling financially. And I'm not knocking the hustle. I'm never gonna knock the hustle, especially when it comes to museum and the arts. Hey, I'm an artist, so I'm good on that. But I just throw a side eye with the museum. They have increased numbers in their foot traffic. So I always look like, he was given an antique cartography map. That's good. They just want money from BTS. I'm trying not to say that. But I just feel like this is going to bring more business and more people to the museum. That's great. I'm all about people visiting national museums around the world. I'm all about that. But I just kind of feel like, well, South Korea, shouldn't y'all be giving this museum more funding? If they're getting, it seems like this museum has kind of like struggled. Well, not kind of, it has. It has. I went back and read the article last night. And I was like, wait a minute. And I went back and read the whole article. It's October 22nd. You can go Google it and look it up. And if you look up National Korean Museum financial issues, you will see an article in 2025, and even going back further than that, in 2023, they have been struggling financially. They cannot purchase any more artifacts because the South Korean government hasn't given them more money in their budgets. And I'm like, they need more money in their budgets. South Korea, get off your ass and support your museum. So the South Korean government wants people to purchase memorabilia and merchandise and come to their museum, but then they're not giving the museum the funding that they deserve. And so the museum is trying to do everything to keep themselves viable. And I understand, using BTS is going to be one, that's a good way for them to generate publicity and more people. But I just kind of feel like, once again, the South Korean government has been dropping the ball um regarding this museum. And they're trying to do everything they can to try to like make up, and RM, yes, and yeah, it is kind of like Cloud. You said RM should do his own run series and he goes to museums and acts as a tour guide. That would be fantastic. I would watch that. She said, but I can't stand them though. And I understand that, why they pick Namjoon. And again, I'm not knocking the hustle. I'm not hating the game, but hey, do what you got to do. But I just feel like this is just another way South Korea is just kind of like, we don't want to fund you, but we'll just get BTS up there and y'all get more people buying y'all stuff. And y'all, instead of them taking responsibility for their own national museum, which is awesome, by the way. It's an awesome national museum. But I'm just like, Korea, I'm gonna need y'all to stop living off the backs of BTS's popularity. We will see. Yeah, we see it though. I mean, we'll see what happens. But I'm sure RM thought it was a great. But then again, I'm like, okay, so what is this ambassadorship detail? Like, what is he supposed to be doing? That was my other question. I'm like, so he's supposed to be doing what? Like, what does this entail? Or is this just a PR thing for the museum? That's another thing. I was like, do we know what he's doing? Because I read several articles and I'm like, so what is he supposed to be doing? So it didn't, none of these articles I read said what he was supposed to be doing. So what does that entail? This is like something that they just created to me just to get publicity. I'm just like, so y'all just made this up or what? They did. They're the same people that deleted the picture of Bang PD. Yes. So I'm just like, man, yeah. I ain't forgive that either. They went up there and deleted their photo because people was commenting. I was like, forget those people. Yeah, this is just PR, I agree, get money from somewhere else. Because again, national museums are supposed to be the responsibility of the government. It's supposed to have government endowments. And they endowments in South Korea have been stagnant over the years and they have not increased over the years. So again, to me, they want people to come to these museums and do all these touristy things, but then they don't want to do the infrastructure and the investment. And that's a lot of problems that I have with South Korea, period. It's just that, it's like K-pop and BTS and the beauty industry and everything is like a cash cow for them. But I'm just like, well, where is all this money going? Like, who is benefiting from all of these things? Besides, look, I watched a video the other day and I'm going to repost this video where they were talking about how money moves in South Korea and the people who really benefit from these things, like the tourism and the tourist industry. I watched a really good video and I'm going to find it. I watched a video like a week and a half ago and I thought it was fascinating about like who really benefits from these things. And so I started to see that, like, yeah, government money is never enough. Yes. So them chaebols and them people, they need to step it up. But they were saying in this article that I read that they pointed saying the South Korean government had not given them a lot of money. And they compare the money given to them from other governments around the world. So every country, pretty much, not every country, but a lot of countries has national museums. And compared to like the national museums here in America and France and Germany and England, they were saying that the National Museum in South Korea literally gets half of what these other museums are getting from their governments. Like it was abysmal, the amount of money that they were given. And the governments will increase their stipend over the years. And they said that they haven't. So they can't even purchase any artifacts and everything. Like they've been on a freeze for years now to where they can't purchase any extra artifacts and anything. And then there's artifacts from Korea, like in North Korea and all over the world that they would like to purchase and bring them back to Korea. And they said they couldn't even do that because they didn't have the money. And I'm just like, Kimball Art Museum. Kimball, hey, over in there. Because the public complains about it, you think so? Oh, thank you, Zero. Yeah, I went and looked because I remember those articles because I think I posted something about it last year about the museum, and then right after that, like at the beginning of this year, that's when they did the thing with Bang PD, and they've done other things with other K-pop singers, like not just BTS, but they've done things with Jennie of Blackpink, and they've done things with other industries and other actors and singers, like other exhibits and stuff like that. But I just remember pointedly, I was like, why are they not investing? And then they've done like BTS kind of artifacts that you can buy at like the gift shops and you can buy online. And they were really, really cute, really cute things, but they were kind of expensive. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, these things were expensive. The BTS like museum merch that they had was, I looked it up like last year. It was kind of expensive. I thought it was kind of expensive. I mean, a K-pop fan. I have a whole K-pop channel. Yeah, yeah, and RM has donated 65,000, a little bit over 65,000 in the past, which is quite a bit. You know, when it goes to groups, I it depends on what we're talking about. I've been in the K-pop since 2022. I've been Army since 2024, but I have gone back. To me, the second generation is the golden age of K-pop. I always defer to the second generation, always. I am always on about the second generation of K-pop because to me, I didn't even know the second generation existed until last year. And when I discovered the second generation of K-pop, like my jaw dropped. Like I really was amazed at the things that they were doing during the second generation and how different K-pop has changed over the years. And I hate it and I rail against it all the time. I tell people second generation was where K-pop was at. It was its most innovative, it was its most creative. Second generation and the early third generation of K-pop was the heyday, the golden age of K-pop. The shit that's going on now, I don't agree with none of this. None of this stuff that go on these days. I'm like, oh no. I don't, the fandoms, the music, the direction of K-pop, no. I don't know. Fourth generation was okay. Fifth generation, no. No. Third generation, we good. Second generation, yes. First, yes. After that, I'm just like, oh, I always marvel and do my videos about how far K-pop has regressed. Instead of progressing, they have regressed. That the third generation came and there was such an implosion of like groups and innovations and creativity. And then all suddenly everything came to a screeching halt in the fourth generation. And I'm just like, what? And I'm still trying to figure out what happened. I'm still trying to put the pieces together. And I do videos about the history of K-pop and everything. And I have a video coming up this week where I'm talking about the history of the fandoms and the things that happened in the fandom. And I'm still trying to figure out what happened. I'm still trying to put it together in my mind. How did we get here? I'm like, you know, now highlight, I barely check them out. Everything is cookie cutter. I mean, everything is crazily cookie cutter now. The groups in the second generation was like FX, 21, Big Bang, Girls' Generation. I posted a whole video, that cabbie video. That cabbie video where it had the boy group and Girls' Generation together and they was on a beach. And go look that video up. It's called Cabi. Cabi. You will see that video and I'll be like, oh hell no, that wouldn't happen today. I did a post about that one boy group that was a second or third generation boy group that they did a whole pictorial and they was naked. I was like, when I found out about that, I almost choked. I was like, they did a pictorial. I was like, this is not. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, they naked. Oh, okay. So I was like, second generation once again, second generation. Moment of silence. The thing I did a whole video about not all of the things, but about several things in second generation that used to happen that don't happen anymore. That it just died off of K-pop. That I'm still wondering like what happened. I'm like, it wasn't even that long ago. Like we talking about second and third generation. We talking about literally like 10 to 15 years ago that K-pop has changed that much in just 10 to 15 years. Like I don't even know. I have a suspicion that a lot of people tell me it's because of social media happened. And then a lot of people blame COVID. A lot of people think that once COVID hit in 2020, that it changed the music, it changed K-pop for the worse. And that's what Jennifer says. Jennifer said 2020 hit and everything that she knew about K-pop started to go downhill. Cause she been liking K-pop since 2013. But for her, she feels like once the fourth generation was gone, that everything just changed to the point where Jennifer's like, she'll stick with her second and third generation group. She said, Jennifer said now K-pop is the way it's done now. You can't tell what group is what anymore. So I think that's part of the problem with K-pop. And we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the groups that have fallen off. The idols, they weren't treated. I do call out fandoms all the time. Yeah, I call them out all the time. Girl, they would be shirtless, girl. You know it. Everybody was running around shirtless in second gen. Like I said, you go watch that Kabi video, CABI, Girls' Generation. You will be like, what is happening? Like they was with the men and they was dancing with them and they was flirting and they was looking at girls' ass and they was checking it. It's a whole like kind of Baywatch kind of theme. And the song, I think it's 2 p.m. in Girls' Generation. And it's just a fun video. And I'm like, that would never happen today. Like you could have this video in 2026. And I was just like, I'm still trying to put pieces together. Why? There used to be so many interacting between the boys groups and the girl groups. FX used to be on stage with Big Bang. They would be backstage interacting and having fun. And nobody was like, everybody was like, yeah, YG was a whole family back then. Like the YG was on top. And Big Bang interacted they did songs with girls. Like they did songs with 21. Like I'm like, what happened? We don't do songs with girls no more. No, we don't do songs. Child, they don't even do songs with girls no more. I was like, what happened? Like what? I was like, okay, so we all just gonna pretend that these music videos didn't happen in second and third generation. Okay, we just gonna pretend that none of that existed. I was like, I like when they did the songs with the boys. I don't know how many Big Bang videos I've watched with them with 21. Like I forgot the name of the song. There's a song that I love that they did. And they were on stage together. That's why I like Big Bang. That's why I have a lot of respect for Big Bang, y'all. Like I'm a Big Bang fan because I go back and watch some Big Bang videos and I'm like, damn. When Tae Yang was running around with no shirt on all the time, I said, oh, this is my kind of group. Oh, they got people on leashes and chains. I was like, oh, all right. Oh, what is this? When I discovered Big Bang, it changed my life. I was like, what is this? I was like, what, you got a stripper pole in the video? I was like, oh, that's my kind of group. I was like, man, I love me some Big Bang. Golden Age of K-pop, yeah. Yeah, now it's more of a factory. They selling the chesticles free. Yeah, please set them free. I'm like, these people were grown. They were grown people back in the day. They understood that they were grown ass men. And then second generation, there was so much variety. Like you had like all these different kinds of concepts, and you had the girl next door and the cutesy boy groups, and you had the boy next door. You had all of that, but then you also had groups like Big Bang that was running around talking about, yeah, I'm still sober. You had Big Bang talking about they was losers and bad boys and they was sober and they had girls on stage and they was smacking their ass. And I was like, okay, you had something. It was something for everybody. So if you didn't like, you had like Orange Caramel that was doing like some weird kitschy thing. Like you had all these different groups for every kind of group that you like. It wasn't just everybody was doing the same thing. And so now everybody is doing the same thing. They're like everybody look alike, everybody sound alike, everybody wearing the same outfits. I can't tell one group from the next. I'm like, who's that? I don't know. Some girl, they look like this other one. I'm like, yeah, I know. Agencies got scared, but I don't understand why they got scared. Oh, Rita LaBelle, you owe everything. See, look. Yes, variety is the key. There's, to me, in K-pop right now, because it's so globalized, it's room for everything. If you don't like this kind of group, okay, well, I'll go like this kind of group. Like some of us like different types of groups. Like I don't want to listen to the same group over and over again. So, which we talked about BTS. BTS is supposed to go to Spain and Madrid. Let's finish up our BTS conversation because we're going to talk about that and what K-pop is experiencing right now. So BTS is going on to Spain. I can't wait. BTS will be coming my way in August. And I am going to, I feel like it's never going to come. It's very surreal to me because I don't feel like it's ever going to come. But then it's slowly but surely getting there. This time just seems to be going very slow until August 16th when BTS comes to Arlington, Texas. I am excited, but then I'm kind of not excited because it doesn't really feel real to me. I have not been watching videos of concert videos. I've been watching clips here and there, but I have not been watching concert clips longer than like a minute. And I've been trying to like not look at certain things because I don't want to ruin it. So, BTS, they have the Oreos. You guys go out there and get the BTS Oreos. I did a short about that. I like the BTS Oreos. I almost bought another pack, but I need to like slow down. Um, there was scandals back in the day. There was scandals, but it wasn't that many scandals, you know. Not excited because it's gonna be very, very hot. You know. As a Korean millennial, it just blows my mind to very day how much the Hallyu wave has exploded. It's exploded a lot. It's exploded a lot, a lot. And I love it. I've exploded a lot, a lot. It's put Korea, K-pop has put Korea on the map, especially a big part of that is of course BTS has put Korea on the map with tourism and boosted their economy and everything. And I like it. I love it. Jennifer plans to go back to Korea in September. Um, Hopefully it won't be too hot for her. I plan to go to Korea with the kids in the spring of next year. So hopefully it won't be too hot then. Sure, that's right. She tell him, girl. She's a second generation fan. We went right. I don't remember any second generation fandoms really complaining too much. They ate that shit up. Second generation fans was just like, all right, you know, they was much more easygoing. It was just kind of like, if you don't like this group, go to this other group. If you don't like HOT, TVXQ was there for you. Big Bang came out. Like there was something for everybody. If you didn't vibe with Girls' Generation, like me, I like 21, I like FX. There was something for everybody. If you didn't like this particular concept, okay, well, wait to the next album. Then they do a different concept. I'm a big VIX fan. Y'all may not know me and VIX is like, I'm a big VIX fan as well. I went back and watched all the videos from VIX, and VIX was the innovators. You know, VIX, they had these concepts and these songs that I absolutely love. I like Super Junior. You know, I'm not into girl groups, but I admire the second and third generation, what they were really trying to do. And when BTS came on the scene, BTS blew it wide open again and they clawed their way to the top. And BTS started from the bottom, started from nothing and clawed their way to the top. And I appreciate that. I really appreciate the hard work and the things that they went through in order to be on top. But they worked hard. They worked hard and they deserved to be there. But they came from a generation of artists that were real artists, that were real innovators and thinkers. There are so many second and third generations that not only did they write their own music, but they also came up with their own concepts. And I think people don't really give the second and third generation enough credit. Like you had people, you had artists that were really had a hand in their concepts and their music. And like I said, G-Dragon, who is immensely talented. You had a lot of talented. This is when Teddy became as a producer. And I know how some of y'all feel about Teddy anyway. And Daddy YG was on top. I know how y'all feel about Daddy YG. Okay. And JYP and Bang PD was doing his thing. These are when all these people really, like these really talented producers and writers and creators really exploded in the second and third generation. And I think if these people were around these days, they would have been stifled and ran out of the industry. The things that Bang PD and JYP were doing, y'all, back in the day, it would never be allowed today. The things that they were innovating, and some of the things failed, and some of the things didn't work out, and some of the things did work out. I don't think for I don't think BTS could happen today. I think BTS happened during a time when it was an explosion of creativity and there was much more wiggle room. I think if BTS would have came around now, they would have been marginalized and they would have been pushed to the back. I don't think BTS would rise to the heights that they have if they didn't come around in the third generation. I think that there is no room in the industry for a group like BTS right now, which is sad, but it's how I feel. And a lot of people feel this way. A lot of people feel that BTS will never happen again because the third generation was the right time and the right place. I don't think agencies are invested into cultivating young talent. Bong PD was invested, and other companies YG was invested into cultivating G Dragon, and they gave them years to write songs and to do their own thing and to be who they are. And now agencies, they just don't do that anymore. They don't move like that no more. Cordis, yes, has more hand. I believe Cordis, yes. Yes, they took it to the, yeah. Swim is great. Swim. I think it was a great song. But I just feel sad that Hybe is trying. Like Hybe is doing their best to try to bring the innovation back. But I'm talking about the industry wide. There were so many different groups doing so many different things back in the second and third generation. There were so many different agencies that were coming up that were letting their talent breathe. The talent now don't have no time to breathe, y'all. Y'all know this talent don't have no time to breathe. Y'all know they getting them younger and younger, and I don't like that. Like back in the day, they actually had adults starting. They was starting trainees at 17. They weren't starting trainees at 12, 13, 14 years old. It wasn't that push. Now, RM, it's gonna be hard to find another RM and another Sugar because the agencies won't let them be. Like the agencies will be like, okay, we got an album, y'all need to crank out a hit. Like BTS first album, first couple of albums weren't hitting like that. And I think now the agencies, like they expect you to come out the gate with a hit. That's the expectation. We need to make money. So you need to come out and do music like this because this is what the algorithm is saying is popular. And this is what everybody else is doing. So we don't need you to innovate. We need you to come out. And you got to, if you really, really think, BTS was doing music that nobody was really doing. Like they came out with, No More Dream, and nobody was really doing music like that. Like nobody. Super Junior, Shinhwa, even Big Bang, nobody was really doing music like that, like BTS was doing. And I think that if you come out being too different now, then you're just gonna kind of be swept away and put as like some kind of Nugu group. You won't have the room to be like, okay, we're gonna do this, and the next album we're gonna do this, and the next album we're gonna do it. I mean, you gotta think that BTS didn't make any money. I think I heard like the first 4 years they didn't really make any money. And it's that still goes on, but just think that like the agency and how Big Hit was really struggling for years to even be viable. That would never go on. Agencies don't want to struggle. They don't struggle these days, child. The agencies are like, we got this group, we're gonna work your ass to death and we want to make money. Like we're gonna run you ragged because we need to make money. Yeah, G Dragon and Boa were the exception. They did start really young. But now everybody starts young. Everybody starts young now. Now they got more and more young people than we've ever seen in K-pop. I mean, they starting trainees really young. Back in the day, there were some young trainees. There were exceptions, Boa and G Dragon. But Boa and G Dragon were exception. They were exceptionally talented people. That's why YG and SM scooped them up because they were exceptional. And IU, they were exceptionally talented. And so they could write songs, they could sing, they could play instruments. Like they were exceptionally talented people. But now it's like you ain't even got to be really that talented no more. I'm like, now it's like, come on, be a trainee. You just have to have a following on social media. Now there's too many reality shows. There's too much of that shit now. Y'all know how much I hate these realities, elimination, K-pop. There's too much reality K-pop shows now. And I understand why they do it, and I get it. But because they want the person to already have a following before they even form the group. And that's kind of the name of the game now. Is like we expect you to be an influencer, we expect you to be on social media, we expect you to be famous, we expect you to be on a survival show and get all this attention and be popular. And then once you become popular, then we can move you over to a group with a bunch of other popular people. And then y'all ain't really gotta have too much talent. y'all ain't gotta have that much talent. Y'all just have to be really popular and have a following. So now it's all about who has a following. And whether they talented or not is kind of inconsequential. And there's some, like I said, there's exceptions to that. There are people who are very popular and talented. But now it's like the focus is away from singing and dancing. Now it's social media influencers now that are just kind of like, you just happen to sing and dance. And you got to look really cute too. You gotta look good. You gotta have the right looks, and you gotta, you know, you ain't really gotta sing. You ain't gotta be that talented. Just be popular. Just have a good personality. And I'm just like, Long Shot is good. I love Long Shot. You know, yeah. And the concepts, yeah, they changed. Yes, right, they did, and they changed and adapted. But now the way the groups are now, again, if you look at it, it's no wiggle room for that. You come out the gate, we need you to be selling records out the gate. We need you to have a social media presence. We need you to sell records. Like I said, BTS to me would not made it if they would have debuted today. There was no wiggle room now for them to be like, okay, we had this concept and now let's pivot and change. And now let's go to, what is it, HYYH, how they beautiful life and everything like that. These groups don't have no time no more. These groups are like, okay, well, your first album, the next album, you need to sell double what you sold the last album. Wait, what? Yeah, you need to sell double. Like, we don't have time for you to be out here figuring it out. You know, it's like, you need to figure it out right now. Like, this is, like, we're losing money. You need to get out there. Like, wait, what? So now these groups don't really have, they just basically now, they're just copying each other because that's what sells. They look at who's popular. Okay, we're just going to do a version of that. Because they don't want to lose money. They don't want to risk of like, okay, well, we're just gonna do a version of this. So every group now is like a version of something else. And so I want somebody to do something different. I'm like, I want to be able to have some kind of risk. Like, can we do something a little bit different to it? I like Cordis and Long Shot because they're actually doing something different than everybody else. But child, when y'all go look at all these groups, I keep telling y'all, go on the internet and look up Kville and look at the YouTube channel Kville and look at all these groups that come out. I made Jennifer watch it. I said, Jennifer, we're going to watch Kville. And she like, okay. So Jennifer watched Kville and she had no idea. She was like, these are the groups? This is what's out now? Yeah, Jennifer. Who, what? She's like, they all look alike. I'm like, she's like, this is why I don't watch K-pop no more. Because you will notice they are, like, all of these new groups, you're like, that one looked like that one. So we talked about BTS. Now this is leading to the next topic, the groups that fell off. There's been a lot of conversation in Korean media and in Korea about certain groups that were popular 2 and 3 years ago aren't now. So I'm gonna give you some examples. Baby Monster. Now, we all have our opinions about YG and the YG system. But this isn't just a YG problem. But people talk about Baby Monster. Baby Monster just came out with an album, if y'all don't know, like a month and a half ago. And they came out a music video and a song and everything like that. People have accused YG inflating their YouTube numbers. I didn't know that YG inflated YouTube numbers, but apparently that's what people are saying. But Baby Monster came out and they were supposed to be the answer to Blackpink. They were supposed to be the next Blackpink. They were supposed to be popular. They were supposed to be, you know, and they came out and they kind of fumbled a little bit and they came back but now Baby Monster, people like, okay, they didn't kind of fell off. And now YG has moved on. YG is coming out with 2 different groups, if y'all didn't know. Another boy group, another girl group. At the end of this year or maybe early next year, we don't know, okay? Another group people talked about is G Idol. I posted it in my post. G Idol, Girl Idol, Gidle, Girdle, Giddle, whatever y'all want to call them, okay? They dropped the G and now they just Idol. This group 2 years ago, if even that, 2024, G Idol was the hottest girl group They came out with hit after hit after hit after hit. Cube Entertainment. Even I was like rocking their music. Even I, who don't even like girl groups, was like, super lady. I'm super lady, super lady. That song was #1 for a long time. When they came out and did the song Wife, that was my ringtone for a long time, y'all. I still like that song. Don't be your wife. I cook and clean. That was the whole. That song was a whole bop. I was like, they had a song called Nude. They had a whole couple of albums that was full of really hit songs. They come out now. They just came out with a song called Crow. It only sold like, I don't even know how many copies, y'all. It debuted like number 83 on the Melon charts. It tanked. People are like, what happened? Kepler. 2.5 years ago, Kepler was the up and coming group. Kepler everybody was talking about them. They was popular. Kepler then kept going. Kepler, they came out with an album, I think three months ago. Didn't do anything. What other groups that they was talking about? I'm trying to go through the groups that they was talking about that have severely tanked. People even talk about Ivy, whatever you want to call it. They came out with an album, I think like 6 months ago, and it did good, but it didn't do as has everybody saying. Now, aespa just came out with their album a couple of weeks ago, Lemonade. And it came out and it hit the ground running, but now it's like with Blackpink, they've kind of peaked. And then everybody who wanted to buy the album then bought the album. And then now it's kind of like, even Blackpink, when they came out with the album, y'all, we talked about that a lot too. That Blackpink came out with an album. Everybody who wanted to buy it bought it the first week. And then after that, nobody really talks about that Blackpink album. It was very disappointing me as a casual blink. So I'm asking y'all, what happened? So what happened to all these groups? And there's many more other groups that people brought up over the past couple of years that have just severely, like, they didn't cancel concert venues. They not selling albums. So I asked y'all, what happened? Kepler was never as big as they could have been. Yeah, because of their company. Baby Monster became the next treasure. Y'all, Denise, is that a shot? Shots fired. Bang, 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 shots fired. Treasure done some things, Treasure. I think they were like #1. They won like the Melon Award or some shit like that. Okay, whatever. Okay, so people are asking, what has happened to these groups? I didn't realize there were so many groups that fell off. But then when I went back and started researching this topic, I was like, damn. Like I went back and looked at the charts from 2.5, 3 years ago, and I was in shock. I was like, wait a minute. Where's the song? Like songs that I had totally forgot about. Groups that I had totally forgot about. And I'm just like, wait a minute. And then I went back and looked and been like, okay, they didn't came out with 3 albums in the past 2 years. And I'm like, okay, so how did they albums do? And I went and started looking at the charts and see the albums that these other groups have done. And I was shocked to learn that a lot of these groups then fell off. Like the drop off is steep. Like they went from being on the charts, they were on the Billboard and everything. And now it's like crickets. Like nobody's really even talking about these groups anymore. So I just thought to share with y'all, because for me, I have a few theories. First of all, some of these groups came out the right time and the right place when BTS was on military hiatus and they were gone, and there was kind of like a hole in the industry. There was wiggle room for people to get more popular, and Blackpink weren't really doing anything. So I think there was a lull, Le Seraphim, they have staying power, yes, There's a finite of money and tension is going, yes. I think that there was a lull in the industry because Blackpink and BTS was out of the picture, #1. #2, I think that it's the oversaturation that is coming to bite K-pop in the ass. It's just too many groups, y'all. They talked about Meow. If y'all know the group Meow with the black label, Meow. And there's a group called Meow. This group, a year and a half ago, had like the #1, they had the #1, #2 song, Meow. They supposed to be coming out with an album, I think coming up in the next couple of months. people are like, they didn't fell off too. Like they ain't popular like they used to be. Meow. And then that was another group that people have been talking about because they supposed to be like the next baby monster, the next Blackpink or whatever. And Meow didn't fell off too. Then people talk about Bad Villain. Bad Villain was one of these groups that was formed from these K-pop reality shows. Everybody was talking about Bad Villain like a year and a half ago. Bad Villain was supposed to be the next whatever. Bad Villain didn't fell off. Bad Villain didn't fell off. They didn't fell off. They seriously just, So I don't know what happened to Bad Villain either. Like, and I'm like, they was real hot like a year and a half ago. Meow was basically Blackpink light. You said the only band that sold out was like Cat's Eye, and I have a feeling it's not K-pop fans that bought the tickets. I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's a lot of people who aren't K-pop fans that are buying Cat's Eye. But I just want to know what happened. What happened to Bad Villain and Meow and VVS and DNNS, and there's so many groups out there that were 2 years ago. These groups were like in the top 10 over and over and over again. That I just, they're all doing the same concept. Yeah, they're all, yeah. And so that's what I was saying before about the lack of innovation and the oversaturation of the industry. There's too many groups that look alike. I like right now in South Korea, Heart to Hearts is a really big group, but I feel like in the next year and a half, we're going to be sitting around on Livestream going, what happened to Heart to Hearts? Because the Heart to Hearts is real popular. And I just feel like a year from now, are we going to be talking about Heart to Hearts? I mean, some of y'all are like, y'all know who the hell Heart to Hearts is, but they're really popular in South Korea. They haven't really crossed over here. They're an SM group. And then SM as pushing towards a more global market. I don't know what's going to happen there. I just feel like SM has to change their strategy all the way around and their music type all the way around in order to compete globally with Hybe and YG and everything. Now, YG are going to be pushing their new groups more to globalization because Baby Monster, they went on a tour in America, and I don't know how well, there's some dubiousness of how well Big Baby Monster did. I heard that they was blocking off a lot of their seats. Y'all didn't hear it from me, but I heard that when Baby Monster went to some of these dates in North America, that a lot of the seats were blocked off and they were not sold out. So I don't know. Y'all didn't hear it from me. That's what I was heard. And so there's so many K-pop groups that are coming out. It's just kind of hard. It's kind of hard to keep up. And then on top of that, the financial situation now. So it's like, because people, Everglow, the same, Everglow is another one that was really popular a couple of years ago, like 3 years ago. But I think as now, like the financial situation is kind of like we only have, it's all of us, we know that we only have a certain amount of money. Okay. So it's kind of like, do I want to spend money on this group or these two groups that sound alike? Or I'm going with the group that I really liked and I'm popular with. Because for me, BTS is my main group, but there are other groups that I support, like ATEEZ. I support them. They coming out with a new album, by the way, y'all. Hey, Golden Hour 5. But I support other groups as well on a casual basis. And then me and Jennifer decided whether we're going to go to their concert. Like, we're going to go see XG. We're going to see XG in November, and I support them. But we only have a finite amount of resources. We can't go to every concert, to every off-brand group that we see. So if we do go to a concert, we're really picking quality over quantity. Before we used to just we went to go see Gravity and Zykers and all these other groups. It's quality over quantity now. So it's like I can't give all of our time and attention and resources to everybody, especially to groups that like kind of sound like every other group. So it's kind of like, this group I like them. They okay, but they're not worth me spending my money on. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there's way too many groups now. Like Stray Kids stand out, ATEEZ, BTS stand out. But other than that, I mean, they all need artist development. I agree. I do. Yes. Illit, one of them is on hiatus again. I posted it on my post on my YouTube channel. She is on her name is Mocha. She's on hiatus again. They said that she is having health issues um related to stress, and from what I hear, she's possibly having mental health issues. Like, hello, Tatiana. Yeah, I don't think America is interested in oversaturation either. We're gonna be very picky of where we're gonna put our money at. She has anxiety. Yeah, she has anxiety, a mental break. Yeah. So this is not the first time. So I just hopefully, I mean, child, if I was in that group, I would be on a mental break hiatus. The shit that they have went through over this New Jeans bullshit, girl, I would be taking a break too. Like they were literally online in the Korean cafes dragging her like 2 weeks ago, saying that she had had plastic surgery. I yes, her and Won Hee, they drugged them for filth, saying that Won Hee has had plastic surgery and that they always be on Won Hee for some reason. They be on her ass all the time. They be on my girl's ass. Won Hee is my favorite in that group, and they be on her ass all the time. They be on them hard in Korea. Hard in Korea. It's sad. They be on them hard in Korea. They be dragging them for every little thing that they do. They'll do a dance. Like one of them did a dance video with Evan. I forgot which member Isla did a dance, and they drug Evan, drug her. Like it was crazy. I was like, if he was dancing with any other female, any other group, they wouldn't have drug Evan like that. All right, it was crazy. I mean, it was hateful. And I went and watched the video of them dancing together, and I was like, this is cute. I didn't think anything bad about it, but they drug Evan for dancing with a member. I look like it was. I was like, I had to like keep it moving. I posted the story, but I was like, this is crazy. This is dumb. This is just dumb. Like, yeah, it's different from them being popular. It was cute. I thought it was real cute. I was like, hey. And then here I am enjoying shit because K-pop, you can't enjoy anything. I'm like, oh, it's cute. Go Evan. Because I've been following Evan, y'all. I was like, go Evan, go Evan, go Islet girl, go Islet girl. And then here come the Korean media talking about people was dragging him. People. Then I went and looked online and people was saying mean things in the comments, and I was like, you know what? Just fuck this. Like I can't. We can't have nothing nice. Can't enjoy nothing. Just can't enjoy nothing. Just can't have no joy. Like I want joy from K-pop fandoms. I don't understand the level of, again, I've said it before, the level of vitriol and hatred and the level of not having fun. To me, K-pop should be fun. To me, K-pop should be something that you enjoy, that you like. And if you don't like a particular group, then move on. Go. There's plenty of groups out there for people to find. If you're upset with an album or a comeback or a member of the group, baby, there's plenty out there for you. There's plenty out there. If you are upset with BTS or Stray Kids or whoever, then go find, like, there's other groups out there. Go enjoy the old album, the previous albums, the previous songs, previous music videos, and just move on. But some people, it's just like they want to be stuck in a state of misery that I just don't understand. I just right. They've been dragging Cordis hard as well. But I just want to know why all these groups fell off. And so a lot of K-pop fans, especially in South Korea, are starting to notice that a lot of the groups who are not surviving are groups that are popular just in Korea. So SM and YG and these other people are starting to realize what Hybe realized 7, 8 years ago, that in order for you to survive in this industry, you have to go global. That South Korea is not, in the Asian markets are not enough to carry you through this thing, because as the market becomes oversaturated, groups, when they first start out, they start out in South Korea. And so now these South Korean based groups are starting to understand that there's too many people in the market, and the things that they're doing in South Korea and what groups are popular in Korea, like somebody was like Metaloop was saying, doesn't necessarily translate as global popularity because there's just a different flavor that we like globally than what is in South Korea. So a lot of the groups that are popular in South Korea are not very popular globally. So now these South Korean fans are kind of like in a panic because they're starting to realize that their favorite groups then fell off. And once they start falling off, then the agency stops devoting resources and promotions and time to them. And so once the agency stops doing that, then their groups fall off even more harder. And so a lot of South Korean fans of these groups that I named of are getting upset at the agencies. But the agency, I say, y'all, the agency is starting to realize that they need to go global. And then the other thing, the conversation need to be had, not every group can go global. Not every group has the members and has the talent and has the charisma to go global. Everybody thinks that, oh, well, they'll just fix it by making an English song. Like, that's the thing now. Well, they'll fix this group. They'll just come out in a song. Just because you come out with a song in English or halfway in English, don't mean the song's going to be popular. Don't mean the type of music is going to be liked. Look at Baby Monster. Look at Meow. These are groups that are trying to infuse English in their songs more and more, but it's not working. It's still not working. Okay? It's still not working, y'all. They're like, we just have them sing in English, and then they do it, and this song still doesn't chart. Do you think that's why Lee Mark left SM? Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why, like a lot of people leave the industry. Yeah, they want to be the next BTS and now Quartus. So now people are seeing what Quartus is doing as a boy group. And now these other agencies are starting to understand. They're trying to follow what Quartus and Longshot are doing as well. And so this is what's going to happen within the industry within the next couple of years. You're going to see more groups like Quartus, more groups like Longshot, more groups like Cat's Eye, because they're starting to understand that, like, okay, we can't just be popular in South Korea. It's not translating over. They're not crossing over like BTS has. They're not crossing over like Quartus has. And so a lot of these South Korean fans are not really understanding what's happening in the industry. And I'm like, you have to globalize. And I know that some South Korean fans don't want to globalize. But again, I'm not trying to pick on certain groups, but Baby Monster and Heart to Hearts, they not, unless they make some drastic changes in their music, international audiences don't want to hear that, especially Western audiences. Western audiences do not want to hear the Kiras, the Billies, Heart to Hearts. If you go look at these groups, you be like, oh, okay. Like, you see the cookie cutterness. Western audiences don't want that. They want innovative, especially with girl groups right now. Now, again, in my prediction, in the next 2 years, you will see the rise of the boy groups again. We are going to see the rise of the male groups. The boy groups have been down there for a minute, besides BTS and Stray Kids and ATs. But I promise you, within the next 2 years, you're going to start to see the rise of the boy groups. Their boy groups are going to be back on top like they were in third gen. Because the girl groups are just getting to the point where people are like, and like I said, I'm not trying to drag aespa, but I'm sorry. I went and listened to the aespa album, and I was just like, oh, okay. If y'all listen to the aespa album, I'm just like, all right. Like, this sounds like the rest of them. It wasn't nothing. To me, all girl groups sounded like anyway, but it wasn't nothing. The girl groups that are successful, not everybody can be Twice and Red Velvet. Not everybody can be these groups or Blackpink. All the rest of these like upper mid tier groups, they are all not canceling tours and shows because they understand that they cannot compete with more and more girl groups, and then they can't compete on a global level. And so now that's why a lot of the reasons that the groups have kind of like fell off, and then they're not getting pushed. Quartus receives a lot of army. I love TXT. Yeah, yes, the companies need to make changes. Yes, everybody's not interested in girl groups. Period. I'm not interested unless they're doing something different. But this sound, but that ESPA that sound is old. That sound is old and is dated. It's just old. It's just, I want girl groups to evolve into something different. And if they're not gonna go, I mean, I'm not saying all groups need to be Cat's Eye. They don't need to be. You can be, you don't have to skew young like Cat's Eye do and do, that kind of music. But they're gonna have to do something different. They're gonna have to be something different than Cat's Eye. They're gonna have to evolve and get out of the S, because again, it between going to see the Kiras or Twice, I mean, which one is people gonna go see? You're gonna go see Twice. You're gonna go see Red Velvet. Those are the groups that you're gonna go see. You're gonna go see Blackpink. There's only so much money everybody has. So you're not gonna be able to see the Kiras and Meows and the Vuvas, and you're gonna be like, okay, who am I picking? The group that's been around a long time and got a lot of music and a lot of dynamic, this legendary group, or I'm gonna go see this group that's only been around, or I'm going to go see Kepler or Baby Monster. Between Twice and Baby Monster, I'm going to go see Twice. I'm not going to go see Baby Monster. I'm going to put my money and bet on the group that I know that been around a long time, and they have a dynamic that is tried and true. I'm not going to spend money on a group that's been around 2 or 3 years unless they're quarters or long shot or something. I'm just not. Dreamcatcher is very different. I like them. We know the over 50 girl group. so sick. Dreamcatcher is also on. Yeah, they're on hiatus. We need we need at least an over 40. Give me some over 40 girls out there. Go and bring back them other girl groups. Go and bring them back together. I just need. It's just I just see a lot of discord when I look at the South Korean message boards about what the chatter is right now. And there's a sense of kind of like dread and panic, and it's a sense of saltiness too, because they're understanding that these groups are losing steam and losing their popularity. And I tell people all the time, these message boards and these fandoms need Western fans. They are coming slowly but surely, to the realization, oh, we really need the Western fans. Yeah, in order for your group to survive these days, you need the West. You need Western fandoms. You need Western fans. You need casual fans. They need us to boost their numbers. Like I said, all of these groups that fell off, I'm like, what do they have in common? They're not that big overseas. So you need fans that are long-standing fans. You need consistency from the groups. You need the groups to evolve and grow, but you need a global reach and a global PR and a global music in order for these groups to attain longevity. Because there are so many groups right now that's been 2 or 3 years in, and then people are just not interested. People are just like, And again, I told people, the Korean fans need us. They need us to boost their numbers online. They need us to watch the videos. They need us to participate in these groups because these groups are failing. They are slowly but surely dying all over K-pop. And so they need us. They need us to go on concerts. And so now they're trying to bring back these old groups. They're bringing back Mamamoo, and Red Velvet is coming out with an album. And what is it? The IOI, or there's an IOI group that was formed. So what you're starting to see now with girl groups is all these old groups are starting to get back together, and they starting to go on tour and everything, because these are the groups that were popular in the third or sometimes fourth generation that were international groups that people actually liked, that were actually popular. Mamamoo is popular. It's popular here in America. And so now these older groups like Big Bang and stuff like that are starting to go on tour, and they're finding a resurgence because people are starting to discover their music now. So people are starting to go back and listen to these old second and third generation albums and these groups, and they're like, well, that group is really good. Or groups that they used to like, I used to listen to them. Are they going on tour again? Okay, well, I want to go. Big Bang going on tour. Unfortunately, they're not coming to Dallas. There's only 2 dates in America so far. I'm just putting it out there. I'm a bit disappointed. But okay, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry in my soda about it. But hopefully they'll add more dates. But people are starting to see that, like, a lot of these old groups are starting to find a resurgence now because they were popular a long time ago. And these new groups just kind of like a lot of these agencies are pushing the new groups to the side to boost these older generation groups, you know. Yeah, IO, is it IOI? Is that the name of the group? I think that male groups are the ones that have a chance. I don't want to see groups looking 12 and dressing like sex kittens. Like I tell y'all, my prediction is watch. I predict that we're gonna see the rise of the boy groups. The boy groups are gonna be back on top again. I mean, but that's just how the industry goes. But I see it. I see more of an investment into male groups. And I see that people are really looking to male groups because they have much more of a longevity. They don't usually have the serious drop off that the girl groups do. And now you're starting to see more with Cordis and Longshot have really showed people you can come out with a male group and they can capture and they can hit the ground running and that have faith in the male groups. But I'm starting to, within the next 2 years, watch, you guys are going to see that the male groups are going to be hitting the charts again. And people are going to, and agencies are going to catch on and they're going to have more and more and more male groups out there. And then the male group market will become more oversaturated and we have to deal with that. But I think that with BTS back now, I think people really have more faith in the male groups now. Hopefully. You couldn't watch Big Bang without T.O.P.? It is bittersweet for me with T.O.P. He's doing a fan meet in July, I think in Japan. I posted about it a couple of weeks ago. I think he's doing a fan meet either at the end of the month or Japan. He's doing a fan meet. So, I love T.O.P. Y'all know I'm a big T.O.P. fan. He's my favorite out of Big Bang. So I'm eagerly awaiting the rise of the boy group. And the rise of the boy group, I like Cordis and Longshot because I don't know about y'all. I want boy groups to be boy groups. That's what I want. Okay. I want boy groups to be natural. As much as people online, y'all, if y'all don't know. Okay. I've talked about it before, how people have been dogging out Cordis. How people talked about Cordis is ugly. Cordis don't look like any other groups. I want boy groups to be boy groups. I like Longshot. I like Cordis because they actually look and act like boys. They look like regular dudes. Their hair isn't coiffed. Is it coiffed? I don't mind you being polished and coiffed. I don't mind that. Okay. I'm tired of the boy groups running around wearing like jerseys and not cowboy boots, but Timberlands and dancing. And that's nice. Or them wearing schoolboy outfits. And I like Cordis because Cordis has a lot of energy and it's just kind of chaotic. And I have a 16-year-old and to me, that's how boys are. That's how boys act, and I like boys who are boys, like who act like real boys, who dress and look like real boys, not mannequins. I like that. Oh, she talking about, I can't wait for the BTS solo. Your concert, see, talks from her concert. My concert is August 2. You can't wait for the BTS solo work. I can't wait for the solo work either. I'm not a solo stan, but I do like BTS when they splinter off. I do. I support them. I want tours. I want that JK tour. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just putting it out there. Putting it out there. I kind of want that JK tour. I do. I want to be there. I'm like, JK. But I like Cordis because they look natural. They act natural. They not like, like very cookie cutter. Like a lot of the boy groups are very cookie cutter. I like because they're funny and they do songs that are age appropriate, funny. Some of the songs are funny, and they just do songs that I feel like this is songs boys that want to do. Do I know Stray Kids? I went to Stray Kids concert last year. I got a whole playlist on my channel about Stray Kids. You want the intimate venue? I want an intimate venue. Yes, I have a whole playlist about Stray Kids. I went to their concert. If I was here, I would show y'all I got Stray Kids stuff in my bathroom is K-pop. So I had to show y'all my bathroom when I get through. I would love to have an intimate venue with Namjoon in Dallas. In Dallas, your granddaughter is a stay. You wanted your granddaughter. I went to Stray Kids, and I only know like two Stray Kids songs, and their concert was awesome. Their concert was awesome. I can understand why people love Stray Kids. Their concert experience is one of the best concert. ATs and Stray Kids are two of the best concert experiences I've ever had. I saw Jin in concert. I like Jin in concert, but I've never seen all of BTS in concert. So we'll see if that tops my ATs and my Stray Kids. Stray Kids, it was just a lot. They had a live band. There was a lot of dancing. There was a lot of just there was like screens and stages and smokes and lasers. And damn it, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if you have a concert and you have smoke and lasers, I'm like, this is heaven. I like lights and lasers and smoke machines. That's what I like. I like smoke and lasers. I'm not gonna lie. I whore out for smoke and lasers, y'all. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm easy to impress. I'm like, they got smoking lasers. They like, really, really? Is this you right now? They came with the lasers. I said, ooh, ah. Girl, they had smoking lasers. I'm like, y'all had me at smoking lasers. Once the lasers came out, I was like, I don't know none of these songs. I know two Stray Kids songs. So the rest of the songs, I was just like, that's me. What song is this? I'm like, Jennifer. Jennifer, like, oh God. Because we go to concerts all the time and I don't know none of the songs on none of these groups. I went to Hypen's concert and I know like 3 Hypen songs. I didn't even know Hypen were the people saying Bite Me until they started singing it. I was like, this the Bite Me people. Yeah, I told y'all that all the time. I was like, they did these songs and I was like, oh, and then they started doing the Bite Me and I was like, I know this song. I know this song. I was so excited. I was like, you and me in this world, so come kiss me, bite me. Jennifer, like, you came to this concert, you didn't realize that they sing Bite Me. I was like, you and me in this world, so come kiss me, bite me. I was excited. I get excited when I hear songs that I know. But we went to Gravity. I don't know any Gravity songs. I don't know any Zyker songs. I'm telling you. I was like, oh my God. The girl next to me was like 16 and she was looking at me like, all right. She's like, all right. I was like, girl, we gonna sing together, girl. Jennifer, like, she like you. I was like, oh, I know this. So Stray Kids, I'm like this because I don't know any Stray Kids songs. So I was like this. I was like, this is cool. And then they came up with the song I know, and they were like, do 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 do. I was like, I know the song. This is why you can't go to concert with me because I was politely clapping, and then I was like, I know this song. I get so excited. At least when I go to ATs, I know AT. This BTS will be the first concert that I have ever been to that I know all of the songs. I know every BTS song, pretty much. So this will be my first concert experience that I know even with Jin. Jin, I knew like 3 songs of his. I was like, I know this song, okay. But every other group I go to, when I go to ATs, I still don't know a lot of AT songs. Now, that last concert I went to last year, I know I finally listened to a whole AT's album. So I was like, let me drop, ooh, let me drop, ooh. Come take your seat in your fantasy. I was jamming. I was like, heaven is in my stay. Like, I was like, so I know those songs. So I at least knew some of the new album, y'all. Give me a little bit of credit. Okay. But all the rest of these groups I go see concerts, I don't be knowing these songs. I just be going like XG. I know like 3, 4 XG songs. So I'm be the XG We went to go see Twice. I don't know none of one Twice song. We went to go see Bruno Mars. I knew like 5 songs, Bruno Mars, because I'm not a fan. So That's my concert going experience. It's just me just sitting there going, ooh, this nice. Oh, girl, this good. What song is this? When I went to go see TXT, I'd never heard a TXT song in my life. I ain't know nothing about no TXT. I was just like, hear me. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. And then, like I said, I get so excited when they play a song, and I'm like, I know this song. Wait a minute, hold on. And like I get to sing. I get to sing. Oh, you embarrass your granddaughter? I embarrass Jennifer all the time. Like I just be like, Jennifer be like, what? Jennifer be like, all right, girl, I get so excited when I know a song. I stand up and I'm like, oh, I know this. But yeah, TXT was my first K-pop concert, and I didn't know anything. But I fell in love with TXT. I fell in love with their music because I listened to the music and I was like, I like this. I like this is what K-pop is. I had no idea that's what K-pop was. I was like, this is good. Whew. I was like, yeah. Because I went to this concert and I just sat there and was like, ain't nobody like no K-pop. Like, who like this shit? And then TXT played, they hit the music, and I by the fifth or sixth song, I was like, man, I'm on my phone, like I gotta download what album, what's this? It's TXT. Okay, let me go ahead and download this album. Like I was literally on my phone looking up songs, trying to download them. Because TXT, I was so impressed by their brother musicality. And I fell in love with TXT. And I was like, oh, I love their music. And I still like their music. They have a very unique sound. But now, like I said, out of every group, BTS is the only group that I know all of their songs. I believe. I think 98% of their songs. But yeah, so 98%. I'm sure there's some BTS song that I have barely never heard because I have not listened to all of BTS's music. I know the popular songs. I promise you, if I would go and listen to their whole album, I'd probably be like, I ain't never heard that. Because I tell you, every once in a while, YouTube will recommend something to me and I've never heard it before. And I was like, I ain't never seen this. What song is? And I have to go back and it's on some from their older albums that I don't really know. But like the Wings album, I think I've listened to all the Wings album. I think. Anyway, I'm not a musical person. I'm not in it for the music. I ain't come here for the music, y'all. I came here for the personality and the visuals, and I stayed for the music. Okay, I stuck around when I liked the music, but I ain't come here for that. But that's my concert going experience. But like I said, back to what I was saying, I just thought I'd bring it up about why groups have fell off, and it's kind of like a panic within the industry and also within the fandoms in South Korea about what are they going to do about all these groups who are not making money. And I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. They've been talking about Kepler is going to disband. Some of y'all was like, I thought Kepler disbanded. I was like, Jennifer said she thought Kepler had disbanded. There's a lot of groups that a lot of y'all thought had disbanded, but I'm like, no, they either been on a hiatus or they came out with an album and it flopped and didn't do anything. But I think that K-pop is kind of like in his flop era right now. That a lot of especially the female groups are flopping and they're not doing very well. And so something has to give. They can't keep pouring money into these groups and then they're not producing results. And so like it's kind of like a soft panic from what I've been told recently within the industry that they're kind of like retooling things and pushing more to go global. So within the next 6 months to a year, or even sooner, you're going to see SM and YG push to go global. Speaking of YG, y'all know I got a problem with YG and how they do their marketing strategy. I think YG has fumbled Baby Monster. I just feel like that they have fumbled Baby Monster like they fumbled all things. And like they did Blackpink. I for somebody who is such a fan of YG, their style of music, who's such a fan of Daddy YG, I know y'all hate Daddy YG. I know there's some weird shit going on with his wife and all that. Okay, y'all. But Daddy YG, I respect him in the industry. I respect his talent and things that he's done. But I just feel like YG, unless somebody really has a come to Jesus moment in YG, I don't know what they're going to do with these new groups. And I just kind of shudder and cringe because I'm like, They coming out with a boy group and a girl group, y'all. And I'm just like, oh boy, we'll see how this goes. And then the girl group name, the name of the girl group is called Next Monster. Next Monster. Your neighbor was at the theater was videoing me because you were Silver Army jamming. That's right. Get your jam on. I have no faith in YG. Next Monster, I was like, they need to retool that. Like, they really keeping that name. Oh, God. And then Baby Monster, like, they had this really good name, and then they didn't even try to play up the name, like, monsters and babies and one, they could have broke it off into subunits. I don't know what these K-pop. Sometimes I just y'all know I be getting mad at the agencies because to me they be fumbling the bag and they be leaving money on the table all the time. One of those cocaine naming parties. I need to be there because what the next monster? This is what y'all came up. And then again, they didn't even play up on the concepts of Baby Monster. Like, how do you ignore the obvious? Baby Monster, they could have split them off into units. Like, one unit could have been Baby, another one could have been Monster, and they could have played with both of those. They didn't do none of that. They didn't do none of it. How do you drop the ball with a name like that? And then you're going to come out with a group called Next Monster. What? I was like, okay. And then they going to drop the ball with that one too. So YG, I really get exasperated with because they have talent. They have talented people. And yes, there's some other groups out there that's like ADLP, PDQ, XYZ. And I'm just like, I don't even know how to pronounce that. That was how Pink Punk was supposed to be, really? How you drop the ball on that? Like, I learned to just be like, okay, we'll see how we'll see what happens. So anyway, on to my next topic. My next topic is we're talking about just briefly about the K-pop censorship, about the censorship on the channels. Oh, wait. Before I get into that, let's talk about the Korean Music Awards. Did anybody watch the Korean Music Awards? Raise your hand. I didn't. What was the name of it? I don't know why they named it. Nobody watched the Korean music. Hello? What? You trying to figure out these K-pop be making money? Right. They do. They have so many idols in a group and they they have to split the money between them. No, nobody watched. Oh, okay. Well, I posted it and then and just in case you guys didn't know, there was a Korean Music Awards that happened. And some groups run, like ATs and a bunch of groups. I put the list as a post on my channel. I was like, anybody, hello, crickets? Like, nobody, y'all are like, we don't care about these damn awards. No, it was the Korean music. Was it the Korean? Was it the Seoul? Yeah, the Seoul Music Awards is what it was. There you go. BTS won one. Yeah, Seoul Music Awards. Sorry, y'all. It's the Seoul Music Awards. BTS won an award, y'all. Oh, Hobie just wrote a post. Yeah, Seoul Music Awards. Y'all didn't watch that? Y'all didn't nobody watch? Nobody? Okay, well, some of y'all favorite groups won some things. I just thought I'd bring it up because I know that there's a bunch of award shows coming up. And we were talking about the Grammys and BTS and all that. So I just thought I'd bring that up that, y'all talking about y'all. What they win for? I forgot what BTS won for because there's so many different categories. But yes, I briefly looked through the winners list and BTS did win an award, y'all. So congratulations to BTS and all the rest of the ATs won a bunch of awards. They won the Bonsang. Hobie's on his way to Paris for Fashion Week. Is that what he just posted? Because Hobie just posted on Weverse. It just popped up. So yeah, so you guys missed the award show. That's fine, because it seems like you guys always miss the award show. Y'all are like, we're not for Korean award. Damn it, care about the Korean award. I'm looking for Korean awards. So I don't watch the Korean awards either. I just keep up with kind of who's winning and who's not winning and stuff like that. And I know the ATs won a bunch of awards, so congratulations to ATs as well. They my boys and won a bunch of awards, or better known as the SM Awards. Is that what they know it of? Being awards mean nothing. I know y'all like these awards don't mean shit. Because we were talking about the y'all are talking about these awards don't mean nothing. I don't watch them when the Grammys come. I will watch BTS. I will check to see a BTS win, and that's about it. I don't watch American awards, Korean awards. I just keep track of who's winning, because award shows, yes, they are boring. Now I do watch like the Mnets. Now I do watch the Mnet awards. I did watch that last year. I think I watched part of it live, or I tried to watch some of it live, and just to see the performances because I wanted to see G Dragon and some of their performances. But that's about it. Yeah. So I just thought I'd put up there the ATs won a lot, BTS won one, and then there was some a bunch of other groups that won, and I posted the list on my post. So the other thing I want to talk about, the last thing, is about the Korean censorship. Korean, if you don't know, have really heavy censorship when it comes to music videos and music, and it kind of doesn't make any sense a lot of times with the Korean censorship. So some artists lately have been complaining because some of the things that have been censored out is just nonsensical things, and then some people they compare and contrast Korean censorship to Korean society. Okay, so people are like, how are you gonna have people who are out here essaying women and corruption and all these things that they don't get jail time, but then y'all will censor some of the stupidest things. Like I think somebody was talking about, they had a song talking about they were running 200 miles per hour, and they censored the song because they were like, well, saying somebody running 200 miles per hour, that's censored, and they had to alter the line. They had to alter the line in the song. So some of the nonsensical things that have been. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hold on, y'all. I hear the kids in here cutting up. I hear my son yelling. So yeah, that some of the censorship things that go on with the music and the music videos, they won't allow certain things. The videos have been altered, and just like I said, stupid things like, oh, you can't say somebody running 200 miles per hour because that's not like humanly possible, and they're like, what? And then like compared to the things that are going on in society, I think Tableau. Well, I know Tableau spoke about this recently on his YouTube. He was talking about the nonsensical things that have been censored out of their songs. But then, some of the fans are like, but you have whole essayists and people, like essaying and doing things. And, y'all are not worried about that, but y'all worried about talking about somebody running fast in a song. I remember the Le Seraphim song, like she had a scene where she dropped like a hair dryer or something in the bathtub or something. It was something real lame, and they had to edit that out because they censored the video. So I just thought that was kind of ironic that this has kind of come up like with certain songs. I know that y'all told me that BTS had certain songs, I think, that were censored like when they first came out, like their first couple of albums. Um I think back in the day y'all were talking about that. What sibling love? Y'all talk about sibling love, like, and then there's certain shows that they let on that haven't been censored, but then when it just seems like the censorship comes really heavily on music and music artists and music videos, and then there's some other things like things that go on in K drama or these reality shows that they just let slide and they put it on. So I just thought I thought that was very interesting argument because that is true. There's certain things. Oh, eating Tide Pods? Yeah, I can understand that too. But some of the censorship things that they were talking about online just really made no sense. I was like, what? They was like, well, you can't say this and that because that really doesn't exist. And I was like, wait a minute. And I remember Tableau was saying that a lot of their songs have been censored, that they had to edit it because it was just really ridiculous things. It was just, and they were like, the Korean censors is just stupid. They're like, why? They're like, what? And I was just laughing because he was just bringing up songs that they had to like adjust the things like, or just sometimes they'll like, use slang phrases, because Tableau speaks English, and they would come back and be like, okay, well, you can't say that, and he was like, okay, he tried to explain, okay, but this is not what was meant, and they were like, no, it's just. So I thought the censorship was kind of funny, But yes, there have been reality shows though that have had themes and kind of things that haven't been censored. And so I wonder, Tableau was saying that for him as a musical artist, he feels like the censors come too harshly on music and music videos when there are TV shows and themes in TV shows that the censors, for sure, he would think that would hit the censors and that have not. So he kind of felt like it was like a setup, that oh yeah. I hear my kids. Hold on, y'all. Boy, I hear some. They are still making them cover tattoos. Yeah, yeah, stuff like that. There's a lot of things that you would think that would have changed over the years that still have not changed in the Korean censorship. But yes, they're making them cover tattoos and stuff like that, which tattoo is legal now in Korea. So I don't understand that either because it's legal. So they made tattoos used to be you had to have like a medical, like you have to have like a medical like a medical certificate and all this stuff. Now they cut that out last year about them requiring people to have some kind of medical certification to do a tattoo and all this licensing, and they cut that out. They changed the law. So I just thought it was weird that a lot of times people don't talk about Korean censorship. The other thing I want to talk about is my next video. My next video that's coming out tomorrow morning is kind of like, it's not supposed to be controversial, but it's kind of controversial. But it's really an educational video of me talking about K-pop fandoms. And so my last point about this video, I'm gonna address High Boy and Asian Entertainment, their videos recently. Like if you guys have seen High Boy's video, not the most recent one, because he's posted many videos since then, but he was talking about like the K Army versus I Army. So he was talking about that. And I kind of did a series of shorts because I was kind of annoyed with his video. And then Asian Entertainment, she did a video where she was talking about like the Korean media and the heat that hit the Korean media about they were caught on a hot mic saying bad things about the Korean soccer player. And so he just stopped talking to the media. So she kind of had a video talking about Korean media and stuff like that, and why Suga and this particular soccer player doesn't talk to the media. Suga just ignores the media now because they did him so bad. But High Boy's video, the K Army versus I Army video, kind of got my ire up because there are certain things in that video that I vehemently disagreed with. I disagreed with because there have been some kind of arguments online between K Army and I Army over the Busan thing, and it's kind of snowballed and brought other things up. And so some of the stuff I understand he was saying, but some of the stuff I'm just like, it's. I did my video to show people that my thing, nothing against Korea. I like Korea. I like Koreans. I got friends in Korea. I love Korea. But when it comes to K-pop fans, that's a different story. The things that I have a problem with in K-pop was a lot of things. But one of the things I bring up is going to be in this video tomorrow is the glazing over fan etiquette and fandom and things, and that there has to be this cohesiveness in K-pop. I don't say that in this video tomorrow, but some of the things that High Boy was talking about I Army and K Army not getting together, I believe strongly that we don't have to get along with K Army if we don't want to. I feel, and vice versa. I feel like you can be a fan of BTS and you can stick to your own army spaces, wherever space that may be, or whatever you feel like you fit in. I don't feel like that sometimes the cultural divide is too much for a lot of international fans to get over. And the same thing with the Korean armies. But I don't know any Korean armies, so I don't know. The people I know in the industry are not BTS fans. They just work in the industry. They're not K-pop fans like that. They're especially not army. So I didn't agree with High Boy's video because some of the stuff that K Army do is, to me, it felt like he was letting them off the hook. Because some of the stuff that they do, I don't, you know, yeah, but there's been things online. There's been things online from K netizens that even before all of this started, that there is a systematic cultural divide between not just BTS fans, not just international, not armies, but just period in K-pop fandom, period. This goes on in other places besides BTS. This goes on in other spaces. It happened with AT's fans. It happened with Twice fans. It happened with, you know, I didn't agree with some of the stuff because to me it don't have to be a kumbaya. That's, you know, this is one of the videos I was like, oh, I got a problem. Because to me, it don't have to be a kumbaya. To me, we can all agree to disagree and just stick to our own spaces and just go to our respective corners. But yeah, it was one of the rare videos that there are several videos about High Boy videos that I don't agree with. Like, and usually it's just nitpicky stuff. But that video I disagree with because, again, I did this video tomorrow in a sideway response to that, again, the things that K Army has, not all the time, not in this instance, but things that did just to me that gets brought up over and over again is fandom things that to me Korean Army want to own and it's not theirs. So I did a whole video coming up tomorrow to tell y'all that this shit that they talking about, they don't own. I just get tired of the ownership issue. Because to me, Korean Army, the shit that they talk about is not shit that's theirs. I'm like, these things aren't yours. So I have to come and remind people, as always, the foundations of K-pop is in the West. That we are the baseline foundation of modern music fandom. And I have to come and remind people that these things were invented for a reason, that these things came about for a reason. I get tired of people talking about, well, Korean, like, well, y'all didn't invent nothing. What did y'all invent? Nothing. Everything y'all got, y'all took it from us and remixed it and just sold it back to us. So my point is, my problem has always been with Korean armies that they want our eyeballs and they want our engagement and they want our money, but then they seemed, a lot of them, not everybody, don't want our input. And I'm like, if you want me to give your money, if you want me to go to Korea, if you want me to do all of these things, then we're going to have some level of say-so about what's going on. Like, you just want us to consume and consume and consume, and then, well, y'all don't understand because you're not Korean. Wait a minute. But the shit that you're doing ain't Korean. Like, I have to remind people, that's not Korean. Like, there's nothing to do with Korean culture or Korean history or Korean language. None of this. None of that. Like, none of that. And I think that people let K-pop get a pass because people don't know. And I think that my goal is always to educate people, and especially international fans, especially as Western fans, to be like, we have ownership over this because y'all doing shit that we've done before K-pop even became a thing. A lot of the things that they do in K-pop is things that they took from the 60s, from rock and roll, from our fandoms. It's not their fandoms. And so I get tired of this narrative that is like, this is not yours. You want us to come visit, don't y'all? Okay, well then, I mean, you know, we allowed to have our own opinions. And sometimes our opinions don't mesh, but to me, I feel like it's okay. I'm not here to convert Koreans into thinking like Americans do. I mean, I'm not here to convert anybody to think anyway, but there are some facts that need to be realized because there's a lot of revisionist history in K-pop that I find very disturbing. It's like this Jedi mind trick that Koreans trying to play on international fans. And I'm like, this not really you. This not your, just, we've been doing this a lot longer, okay? A lot longer than K-pop has been around. Like K-pop invented anything. They didn't reinvent everything. Yeah. It did, like I said, to me, it got my hackles up because they should not get a pass. And to me, the Korean fans, not all of them, don't want the criticism from us. And I peeped that a long time ago. Like there is a sense of like, we originated, you originated nothing. I will say it again, there's nothing original in K-pop. They didn't originate shit. From the trainee system to the agencies to the music to the dancing. A lot of people talk about the origins of the music in K-pop and the dancing and all of that. But people don't talk about things in the fandoms. The K-pop fans, again, y'all invented the modern light stick. That's pretty much about it. When I started looking up these things, I'm like, okay, they didn't invent that. They didn't. Photo cards, y'all didn't invent that. Fan meetings, y'all didn't invent that. None of these things were invented by K-pop. They don't have any ownership over these particular things. It is kind of like this Jedi mind trick that K-pop fans, even international ones, fall into because they don't really know the origins of the things that they're doing. Fan chants didn't originate in Korea. Fan merchandise didn't originate in Korea. Concert venues, concerts, we all know didn't originate. Modern concert originated here. It originated with the 60s and the rock and roll era. That's what my video talks about, the origins of these things that I'll be like, y'all real bold about, well, we do this and we do that. Why do y'all do this? And why do nobody knows? Nobody knows the origin of certain thinking and certain etiquette. I was like, do y'all know the origin of why y'all do that? Well, no, because it's Korean culture. It's not. This because it is. So I went and researched the origins of fan etiquette in Korea, the origins of the fan chants, the origins of the merchandising and the photo. I went and looked all this stuff up and realized this has nothing to do with Korea. This is, it is a definite toxicity. And so part of the background, again, part of my channel and my video is always trying to educate people and try to tell people, don't let international fans and Korean fans try to tell y'all this is Korean culture. It is not. So High Boy got me annoyed because I'm like, but this music form is ours. It's ours. It is our music. Your fandom is based on what we were doing in the 50s and the 60s. Y'all are not reinventing the wheel or doing anything differently. So the idea that if things, to me, in my mind, if things can be invented or introduced, then things can be unintroduced. Things can be altered and changed. It's the rigidity that I have with K-pop fans in Korea. It's the rigidness. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how it's been. This is always about what for 6 years? What are y'all talking about? I'm like, K-pop ain't even been around long enough to be this fucking rigid. You understand what I'm saying? K-pop has not been around in existence long enough for people to be this dug in and entrenched in shit that they didn't create. Nobody should be like, well, we can't change it. Well, this is how. I'm like, no, I believe K-pop can change. It has evolved over time. I talk about it all the time. I'm like, how do K-pop fans not even know the history of their own genre that they're into? They don't. There are so many fans talking about, well, K-pop idols can't date. I was like, well, a long time ago, they had whole reality shows where they were supposed to be married and idols can't do this, idols can't do that. But I'm like, in the second generation, they did. So what has happened in just 10, 12, 14 years? Like, people act like this shit happened. Like, oh, well, this is how it's always been. Like, it's been 100 years. I'm like, if we can change, y'all can undo some of these things. And so I hate the entrenchedness that is so entrenched in K-pop fandom, as if things hasn't evolved and changed over the years. And they have. And I said, if we can evolve and change, we can keep growing and changing. You have to change with the times and technology. And to me, there is a serious resistance of us moving towards, like I said before, my global fandom, pushing fandom toward to be more global and more inclusive. And again, I've said it before and said it again. If you want to have soft power, you can't be rigid. You cannot, it doesn't work that way. I did my video where I talked about how Korea and the economists and the sociology and the people want K-pop and the K-beauty and entertainment to be like the manga. Well, manga is not rigid. People in Japan know that a lot of the things in anime and manga and video games are taken from the West, and nobody is scared to admit that. Everybody understands that the story beats, and you talk about Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey, they understand that, okay, Japan didn't create that. We have taken these themes and we've created manga and anime and video games and movies and stuff. They understand that. In Korea, there is this resistance to acknowledge that, yeah, like this shit came from the West. I don't see that resistance in anime and manga. They all understand that, like, animation wasn't invented in Japan. They like, we know that comic books came from America. We understand that manga are just comic books. They understand that anime is just animation that was invented here. And they understand that. And they never try to pretend like the West didn't influence their medium. And so there's a fluidity in the homage to American, to what was invented in the West and the things that they've taken it to make their own. No one is in anime and manga is trying to pretend that, like, okay, like these story beats didn't start here. They did start here. The storytelling has been universal since the dawn of time. And the same thing with music. What the problem that I have is with Koreans trying to downplay the West and not giving the West its due in everything about their fandom. And now trying to freeze us out or be like, we don't have no say so. It's, you took what's ours. Like, this is ours. I'm like, what? How you gonna freeze us out of something that we invented, that we basically came up with? And that means Europe, that means America, that means black folks, that means white folks, that means everybody all together. Korea did not invent K-pop. They did not invent anything in the K-pop systems. I'm tired of them pretending like we just invented this and y'all should just shut up and take it. Whatever we got to say, y'all don't understand. Okay, but this is not y'all culture. K-pop as an art form is not Korean culture. It is not theirs. It is an adaptation of the American West, remixed and resold back out to us. And again, everybody else who's into entertainment understands this. They get it. They get it. In Japan, they understand this. They understand that their subcultures, a lot of their subcultures are based on Western notions and ideas. They don't run from that. That's what I get annoyed with. Japan's like, yeah, we know it. Yeah, we got punks and goths and shit. We know that shit came from Europe. We understand we didn't invent, dark eyeliner and spiky black hair. They know they like, yeah, we know that this came from the 80s. We understand where it came from. They don't try to run from it. They don't like, well, we invented goth. No, you didn't, motherfucker. We been goth. Like, what you? They don't run from it. They name it something else. It may be visual Kai, it may be something else, but they understand this is the origins of it. It originated in the 80s, and they talk about it in reverent hush tones. Like, ooh, you were a goth back in the day. Oh my God, tell us how it was like to be a real goth. And they understand. They want to know, like, what happened. Korea, I don't see that. Yeah, it's just like you have to keep K-pop truthful. That's what I try to do. Like, you have to keep it truthful. And it's like there's this resistance in Korea to keep it truthful, to take ownership over something, and then and try to block us out and act like we're being the ridiculous ones. We're like, but you don't own this because you didn't invent any of it. I tell people that people talk about keep Korean K-pop. Where's Korea at? The language? Because y'all speaking Hangul like that. That's what the language. And it's not even that anymore. Most of the songs are in English now, so they ain't even got that. I'm like, if y'all want to put Korea in K-pop, then I need y'all to have some trot singers or some shit. Like, I need y'all to get that trot singer out there. I need y'all to get that Higum out there. Like, that would bring more Korea into K-pop, which is what I've always said, because I like trot singers, but ain't nobody listening to me. But to freeze us out and try to belittle us and act like, well, y'all just don't understand. The same thing with the Yoongi thing. That's what High Boy brought up with the sugar thing, that a lot of armies are still mad at the Korean armies for not protecting and coming to Yoongi's defense. And I saw a lot of that, and that's the reason why I got out of army spaces, because I saw what was happening. I saw Korean armies drag the shit out of Yoongi and jump on the Yoongi train, and I said, you same people, you same MFers who are like, oh, BTS, I love BTS. I said, weren't y'all the same motherfuckers that was dragging Yoongi and said Yoongi made a mistake and he was wrong for that and y'all was trying to get him out of the group? These same people are turning around now going to BTS concerts. I was like, make that make sense. Like, there is no sense of like, there's a revisionist history that all y'all act like y'all was on board with Yoongi. Y'all were not. Y'all not on board with Yoongi. I get upset about that because I'm like, y'all weren't. Y'all weren't down for Yoongi. Y'all drug the shit out of him with everybody else in Korea instead of trying to protect Suga. They did not. And they dropped the ball on that one. They did not. And then now y'all going to concerts and y'all buying merch and y'all like, hey, BTS. And I was like, weren't y'all the same people talking about Suga should lead the group? All right. Okay. You know, I'm emo, whatever. I mean, I was an emo golf girl, you know, and it's like I hate people like that. So now y'all want to be on the BTS bandwagon and y'all love Suga and y'all love it. But then, like literally a year and a half ago, these same people were on the internet talking about Suga need to leave the group. And I understand that the funeral wreaths didn't come from armies, that the funeral wreaths came from NCT fans. I understand. I've discussed that over and over again, and I get it. But they did not come to Suga's defense like they should have. And they sat there and just was like, exactly, yes, yes. The same fans that don't bat an eye when Koreans are racist to other Asian musicians. Right. Exactly. And they just sit there like, you know, y'all, the NCT fans. Yes, they were demanding Suga apologize. They were all up on that fake video, child. You know. Right. That's true. There are other solo artists out there that, yes, that don't get the Forestella. I know who Forestella is. It's amazing. And they don't get the exposure that deserve. So I get tired. Again, I had a problem with High Boy's video because I get tired of like asking that we all need to get along. And I'm like, I'm not all about getting along. Sometimes I choose violence. I'm like, no, I'm going to put a line in the sand and I'll be like, you stay your ass over there and I'm going to stay over here. I am not all about the kumbaya. I am never, you will never hear me advocating for everybody to be in spaces with everybody. I am against that. I am not for a cohesive army. I'm like, army, us in America, fractured. You can still love BTS. We can still be army. We can come together when we need to come together. But other than that, I am not about like we all need to be together because all of us are not motivated by the same things when it comes to BTS. All of us do our fandom or express our fandom, or the reason why we love BTS may be different reasons. Like some of us are more solo stans and BTS comes secondary. Some of us love all of BTS and the OT7 people. Some of us are here because we really like the music. Some of us are here because, you know, y'all really like the visuals and BTS is hot. And y'all just here for the hotness. Y'all like, who finna take their shirt off today? Like some of y'all just want to see V's arms. I don't know. You know, some of y'all just in it for V's arms. You're like, bitch, I'm here because I'm here to see V's arms. Like I ain't come for none of y'all, rest of y'all. So we are all not here for the same things. And for High Boy to say that like, we're all here to protect BTS. Even I got in his comments and I'm like, no, I'm not here to protect BTS. That's not my goal. My goal is to enjoy the music. I'm not here to protect nobody. BTS grown. They can do that themselves. But I will call out sketchy behavior that I see from the fans. That's true. But to me, my goal as a fan is to be a fan of the music, to be a fan of the members together and also individually. I roll either way. But some of the K netizens, the K armies, want BTS desperately to stay in their place and want BTS to be in this box that is no longer serving BTS and that they no longer can fit inside. And so to me, I see a lot of resistance to letting BTS grow and change and be whoever they want to be. It's kind of like, we need you to just be this and do this. And I'm like, well, BTS has kind of outgrown that and they kind of like moved on. And so I see a lot of resistance to change too on the Korean side. So yeah, the High Boy video, it irked me a lot because I'm like, I let the divide stand. If y'all don't want to fuck with K Army, hey, I'm like, okay, do you? We don't have to be a cohesive group. We can still like BTS. It doesn't do anything to BTS for us not to be a cohesive group. I don't want to fuck with them. Like, they're fine. You know, yeah, it isn't. Yes, it's more about Korean fans feeling entitled. Right. That's the other part of it. It is. It is. It's about them feeling entitled. They want, yes, they want to be able to exert control over BTS, and they keep trying and keep trying and keep failing. And so that's the other problem I have. And instead of just letting it be, and again, I've said it before and said it again. If you want people to participate and go to South Korea and go on tour, you want tourism, you want us to buy all this shit, and you want us to do all of these things, okay? You want to export your culture. Part of exporting your culture is being flexible. Part of extorting your culture is letting other people in. That's part of it. You can't be trying to export your culture and then be rigid about it and be like, well, you're going to do it the way we want to do it. That's not how that works. If you want to do that, then keep K-pop in Korea and don't go global and don't have global groups and just keep it over there. That's my whole thing. You can't have it both ways. Want you can't want to have soft power. Part of having soft power is to be flexible. So that's the other part of it that I don't get. If you want to keep K-pop in Korea and do your thing, I don't have any issues with that. Just keep it over there. Stop trying to export your groups over here. Stop trying to get us to buy and go to concerts over here. Stop trying to get our dollars and then don't want no say so, or you don't want to adapt and change. Anime and manga and the things in Japanese culture have changed over the time because more Western fans, we have kind of interjected our own opinions and sometimes morality, sometimes things work in Japan don't necessarily work here. There's a plenty of things in Japan anime that does not work over here. We are not into the little girl PDF shit. Like that don't work here. So they've had censorship and adapt things because they understand American audiences, we don't want to see Japanese hentai with 12-year-olds and grown men. I'm sorry. That may be good over in y'all subculture, but for us, we're like, I'm not done with, like, we don't want to see we don't want to see characters that look like little girls having sex with grown men. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes here in America. So they've learned to be like, okay, we need to excise that part. We need to up the age range of these female characters and have them actually be adults because they understand that certain things that works in Japan don't work here. Instead of being like, well, this is our culture, and yes, we want to see these prepubescent 12-year-old girls with 50-year-old men. Okay, we just gonna go with it, and y'all just need to get over it. It was never that. It was like, okay, we have to adapt and change. Well, what do American audiences like? Well, they like this, they like that, they like lots of action. The first anime and the first manga didn't have lots of action. They weren't out here fighting demons off in every other episode. It didn't happen like that. They created another niche, another genre of fighting demons and samurais, and because the American audiences really like that. And then it grew in popularity with other audiences worldwide. So again, if Japan was that rigid, anime and mangas and video games would have never spread. They had to learn to adapt in time to what audiences wanted to see and what was popular and not popular. And it became popular for everybody. So the idea that K-pop want us to participate in all of these things, but then, well, we don't want you guys to have any say-so in it. We don't want you guys telling us what kind of songs we need to do. Well, who wants to do that? Excuse me. Yeah, we're gonna participate. There's certain things that we find very distasteful and unsavory. We don't like that. So we have a right to say we don't like that. Or I don't like you guys being controlling of your artists. We don't like that. And we have a right to say that. We have a right to feel how we feel individually and then also culturally. We have a right to feel how we feel. And there are certain things that in the West for us culturally don't fly. But again, if you want to export your culture and you want us to buy shit, then you're going to have to kind of be like, we need to take this into consideration, like what they kind of like and what they don't like, instead of pushing up against it and being like, well, you guys need to just get over it. But I'm like, no, you know. Oh, poor Bong PD, your travels. Hello. I'm live. That house being South Korea. Right. Yeah, right. It's like, again, I find it disingenuous and maddening, the narratives around international fans and Korean fans in all of K-pop. I just find it very hypocritical and disingenuous and non-inclusive. And It's just kind of like buy and shut up. Just don't worry about what we're doing. Just take, you have no input. If I'm spending my money, I want to have input. If I'm spending my money, I'm gonna have an opinion about certain things. You know, I feel like we have a right to have to feel how we feel. Yeah, I get tired of K Army scolding us. You know, yeah. If we want to sing and dance, then that should be us. Oh, good night, Lisa. I appreciate it. Good night, Lisa. Yeah, I'm about to end this live stream soon. But I feel like if we want to dance, we want to dance. If we don't want to do fan chants, we don't want to do fan chants. I get tired again. My whole video tomorrow is about the same shit. I'm like, I get tired of them trying to dictate what the things that we do, and then they don't even understand the origins of the shit that they do in the first place. That drives me crazy. You ask Korean fans, okay, so when did this get started? So when did y'all start doing fan chants and why? Well, it's just always been in K-pop. Why? They don't even know why. I do. I know why they started doing fan chants, and I know the reason behind it. I know why they don't sing during the songs. I know the reasons behind it. And it's practical reasons. But I'm like, okay, well, the reason why y'all started doing this shit was practical. And now these practicalities don't exist anymore. So again, I get tired of people trying to act like these etiquettes have been around forever and a day. Like this is shit that go back hundreds of years. It don't. It's stuff that started in the first and second generation. And there was practical reasons why people did these things that don't exist anymore. There's no reason to be doing some of these things anymore. And so they just want control. They just want one-upmanship. They just want to complain that they just want clout to be like, I'm more of a K-pop fan than you are. I'm more of a traditionalist than you are. Like that's what these things are all about now. It's not about practicality or nobody knows the origin of where. No, it's none of that. People don't even know why they do shit. They just doing it just because they told it that's what they had to do. And there's no frame of history or reference. And I had to go back and dig and research and be like, oh, so that's why they do that. I'm like, child, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing no more. I'm like, ain't nobody even. And some of these things, like I said, was invented in the late 90s. Half of these artists were little kids back then. They, you know, Cordis wasn't even alive then. Like half this shit that people don't know why they do things. And I hate when people do things based on tradition and people don't know why they do things. They just keep doing them. Just because something that always been done don't mean you have to keep doing it. You can adapt and change. And it's okay. And it's okay for us to adapt and to change. And it's okay to be like, okay, well, maybe we need to stop doing this. Like maybe we don't want to do this anymore. And it's okay for some people not want to do things, and some people I want to keep doing it. That's fine. But as a fandom, we have to allow space for everybody and everybody to do their own thing. You know. Okay. Good night, Marie Miller. Early Pilates. Pilates. I used to do Pilates. Even Jimmy said they feed off the audience. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, they do. Every artist feeds off the audience of how they clap, how they cheer, how they interact. That's a part of being a performer. It's the lifeblood of being a performer. And again, to know why these things came up, again, with my video, you'll see. You'll be like, I get it now. You're like, I understand. And you're like, okay, well, we don't have to do that no more. You will understand why we do why certain things are done. And it has nothing to do with Korean culture. It is little to do with that. It's real practical things why people did certain things back then. So I hope you guys watched the video because again, I was determined. I was like, after High Boy's video, it inspired me to go back and look at the fan etiquette and the fan chants and the not clapping and all of these things. And I was like, why do K-pop fans? And when I started looking these things up, they made a lot of sense. And back then, back in the 90s, it made a lot of sense. And you will see that you're like, okay. But and then some of the things that done in K-pop, the agency created or interjected because they had reasons as well. Sometimes it's money and monetary, sometimes it's safety. So there's safety things that were put in K-pop that people do, but that were safety things back in the 90s, just because they didn't have the resources. So they needed fans to do certain things or not do certain things. So it made a lot of sense. Now it just doesn't make any sense. And then like nobody wants to evaluate these things, and people act like it has like some sort of like weird reverence. And I'm like, it's We're not talking about religion. We're not talking about church. We're not like reading the Bible and trying to rewrite the Bible. It's just K-pop. I'm like, okay, can we not do that? Like, it's fine. It's okay if you want to do it. But I just don't understand why people haven't divulged into these things and really brought it to task and been like, okay, you do know why you're doing that, right? And then nobody really knows. Everybody just keeps doing the same shit over and over again, and nobody really has no frame of reference, or nobody knows when it got started. Well, why do y'all do that? Well, I don't know. It's just that's just how it's always been. I hate that. I'm like, but who started it? Well, we really don't know. So y'all just doing stuff because that's how it's always been, and somebody told you that's how it's supposed to be. Okay, I don't believe in that. Yeah, you can tell the enthusiasm with yeah, spread the word. I spread the word. My goal is try to educate K-pop fans, especially all fans, Western fans, Asian fans, everybody, because I think once you understand the history of K-pop, like where it came from, how it started, the history of the dancing, the history of the fandom, etiquette, like once you get a really wide view of what K-pop is, you will have more of appreciation for it. I think because I've learned so much that I have more of a deep understanding about K-pop, and then it has fueled me even further for us to push K-pop into growing, into changing and growing. And it has slowly but surely. But there is just like this sense of fandom that don't want K-pop to grow. And I don't, I kind of get it, but then I kind of don't. But to me, it's a sense of parasocialism and control. That's what it basically boils down to. It's a sense of competitiveness that's in K-pop, and a sense of control. And even the competitiveness, I've talked about the competitiveness between the groups before. I said the competitiveness was out of the fact that back in the day, there wasn't a lot of market share. There wasn't a lot of places for K-pop groups to tour or to go to. So of course you're going to have a sense of fierce competitiveness because everybody was fighting tooth and nail for every damn album sale, every dollar, every tour date. Everybody was fighting tooth and nail to keep their group viable and alive because you didn't have a global market. But I'm like, now we can kind of drop that because we have different groups doing different things, and we have some groups global, some groups not. So I said the sense of fierce competitiveness is something that needs to die off quickly because I'm like, there's so many places that artists can make money now. They have branding deals. You have commercials. You have TV shows. You have on the internet. They can be influencers. There's so many different things that artists can do to make money that didn't exist 20 years ago. 20 years ago, they were really beholden to Japan and South Korea and the Asian markets and going on tour in the Philippines and stuff like that. And going to America was like a really big treat. It was something that the elite groups did. Now they have so many different ways they can make money. And so now it's like it shouldn't be as cutthroat with the fandoms because everybody should just have their own lane. And then it should just be like, oh, that group's over there doing that. Congratulations. Oh, look at this group over here. They're successful too. And everybody can be successful. We are not all fighting for the same market share. Like all the groups are not in this small little bubble and everybody's just clawing their way. It's not as cutthroat as it was back in the 90s and early 2000s. From what I know, it was very cutthroat in the industry. That's eased up. It's still competitive within the industry, but it's not, now if you have the right market and not the right niche, you can make money. You can make money. Then you can make money. K Army just don't want I Army to show them up. I think so. Even I talked about that when BTS did their dinner. Even BTS talked about that, putting their phones down. RM and Jim and Jungkook was saying that that's what people do. I do it because that's what everybody else do at every other concert. Every other concert I've been to, everybody got their phone up because they want to record. And some people, like JK said, they record and then they enjoy it and they record and then they stop and put their phone down. And like some, but once cell phones were invented, that's just everywhere. People go to weddings. I've been to weddings where everybody got their phone up. I was just like, okay, that's just the nature of the society that we live in. And you can't fight that. People are always going to have their cell phones up. It don't matter, like I said, weddings, graduations, baby showers, even when the people's baby was born. It's like everybody has to film everything. And then when you're talking about a concert, oh yeah, people are gonna film. And I think people film because they can put it on their social media or they can go back and I know Jennifer films so she can go back and relive the concert and watch the video over and over again. But that's just the nature, that's just the society we live in. I mean, that ain't never gonna change. You know, cell phones are here, people are gonna film. And like I said, I went to a classical concert and people were filming. Even a classical. These motherfuckers up there playing instruments. I'm just sitting there like everybody, and they tell people don't put your phones up. People do it anyway. I'm like, you ain't gonna tell these people what to do. They just like, I was like, okay. Every concert I've been to, people film. It's just the nature. I film because I'm a content creator, but you know, I'm gonna film because I have a YouTube channel. But people, you know, you can enjoy the concert. Again, I'm not a loud person. I'm not knocking the Koreans. I like how the Koreans do it. I like the Koreans that they sit there politely. But, you know, but like I said, there's a reason for that. There's a reason why, and I get it. But for me, I'm not a very like loud person. I just sit there and film. When BTS come, I'm gonna be filming. I'm gonna film the whole entire damn thing. I'm just telling y'all. Like and I may put it down, you know, depending on the song, but I'm gonna film most of it. I'm gonna try my hardest to film most of it. I'm gonna ask Jennifer to film the other part, and we try to interject our film together. But every concert I go to, when I went to Bruno Mars, everybody was filming. Yeah, that's how I enjoy the concert. Again, I've explained it before that a lot of times when I go to the concert, I am 3 sheets to the wind. I am basically probably pretty tipsy. And so the only way I can really remember the concert a lot of times is if I go back and look at the video. Y'all, by the time I go to the venue, I'm like, give me that. I'm spending like $60 on mixed drinks. Give me that mixed drink, $20. Okay. Give me that mixed drink, $20. Like I done spent $60 on mixed drinks. Okay. By the time the concert starts and we get there really early. I mean, by the time the concert starts, I'm just kind of like, I'm a little loopy. I'm a lot. Jennifer's like, you good? I'm like, girl, good. It's fabulous. Woo! That's the only way I can enjoy the concert is if I'm like tipsy. That's the only time because again, for me, being around a lot of people is anxiety inducing and vomit inducing. I don't like being around people. So in order for me to take the edge off and so I can relax a little bit, I had to drink. I had to get tipsy. I had to drink at least two drinks, and I'm a cheap drunk. So 2 drinks, and I'm like, okay, I can deal with my anxiety. But I have a lot of anxiety I'm not used to being around people, period, at all. Like I work from home. It's just me and my kids and Jennifer. I don't deal with people. I go pick up grocery stores. I go to grocery store, pick up my groceries or have them delivered. Everything I have is delivered. So almost everything. I mean, there's certain things I have to do, like for the geckos, I have to go get them. But for the most part, I live a very insular life. So, you know, I go to the gym and there's like 1 or 2 people there at the gym. I walk around or whatever. But other than that, I don't really deal with people. So when I go to a concert and surrounded by all those people, it's kind of like, it's anxiety inducing. It's a little overwhelming for me. So in order to calm down my nerves, I had to be like, all right, y'all. Just BTS one time. So you can see me. You're like, oh, that must be Kiki. Yeah, hey. Sometimes y'all be like, oh, you gotta do the C-section. Oh, okay. Oh my God. I appreciate the fan cams as well. I appreciate even though I go to concerts, I still like the fan cams. Bye, Lakia 77. You gotta do the C-section. Okay. C-section. I had 2 of those. Ooh. They be like, oh, she tipsy. Oh, look at her. I be like, DNA, DNA. DNA. That's gonna be me. I be like, come on, Jennifer, let's link up, girl, link up. Jennifer be like, I'm not linking up with DNA. Come on, Jennifer. I live to embarrass Jennifer. Like, I live for this. I can't wait to embarrass her. Oh, I can't wait. I may put the camera down for that. Just to be like, I don't know why. It's a fake love. I don't need fake love. Fake love, fake love, fake love. I might just embarrass Jennifer. She gonna be like, what? Fake love? Oh, damn. Like, here she over here. I don't need fake love. Fake love. Then they gonna hit that blood, sweat, and tears. I'm like, I'm like, do the Jimmy shoulder, girl. Ow, ow. I'm gonna live to embarrass Jennifer. She gonna be like, girl, I don't. Good night, Denise. You gotta go to work tomorrow. Good night. I'm gonna do the shoulder, Denise. I'm just picturing it in my head. I'm just picturing Jennifer just like, okay, like what? Like, girl, what you doing? Like, what you... Bye, Denise. You thought he's about fake love. Oh, it's a fake love. Y'all, I'm finna go to bed. No, I'm not finna go to bed. I actually finna get me something to eat. I'm hungry. I have not eaten anything really today. But anyway, y'all, that's the end of my video. I've rambled on long enough. We will see how this BTS experience is gonna go. But that's all I gotta say. I thank everybody for being here. I'm fixing to go get me something to eat. I'm fixing to go relax. I'm finna see what these kids is doing. They was making all kinds of noise out here. What? Yeah, she be like, girl, what you... Jennifer be like, are you okay, girl? What is wrong with you? Like, look, Jennifer already knows. I'm like, girl, I'm here to embarrass you, girl. That's what I came here for. That's part of the plan, is to be up here and just act goofy. And Jennifer be like, she just shake her head and like, I don't know her. Like, I don't. But anyway, y'all, I'm finna go eat my salad. And then I am going to log into work real quick. Even though it's a Sunday, I'm just going to log into work real quick. Trying to find my laptop. It's somewhere around here. But anyway, y'all, thanks for being here. Let me go get some food and log into work and see what's going on at work before I go to work tomorrow. Anyway, y'all, that's about it.